solution. She is an artist when it comes to helping you with your hormones. BioBalanceHealth.com for Dr. Kathy Maupin.
If you've fallen out of love with your home, maybe you just need a refresh. Contact CertaPro Painters and we'll put the power of pro to work for you. That's CertaPro's power to transform living rooms and rejuvenate kitchens. The power to get the job done right, on time, and within your budget. Get that lovin' feeling back with the help of CertaPro Painters. Start your project at CertaPro.com. The power of pro. Each CertaPro Painters business is independently owned and operated.
Do you have 3 ex-wives and your current trophy wife wants a life insurance policy 3 times the size of the policies you had to purchase for your previous mistakes? If so, you need to call Big Lou at Term Provider, 800-700-6898. Big Lou is intimately familiar with your problems, and if you're 50 or 60 years old and in reasonably good health, a $1 million policy should only cost about $100 to $200 per month. Big Lou may have a solution for your previous policies as well. You may even save enough money to lighten the load on your new $1 million policy. Remember, call Big Lou. He's like you, except he's only on number 2. Call Term Provider at 800-700-6898. That's 800-700-6898 for $1 million in term life insurance that you can live with. Call Big Lou at 800-700-6898. 800-700-6898.
Linda, let's run vitals and measurements on Chairman Meow. And then
Springtime is itchy skin time at Violet's Pet Clinic.
Oh no, he seems to be very uncomfortable.
She needs more allergy vets to scratch appointments off her list.
Okay, let me see if I can find someone to get some steroid cream for him.
Indeed can help her hire great people fast.
I need Indeed.
Indeed you do. Our hiring platform instantly connects you with quality candidates, and you can schedule and conduct virtual interviews right from the Indeed dashboard. Visit Indeed.com/credit and get $75 towards your first sponsored job. Terms and conditions apply.
Venture X from Capital One is the travel card for people always asking,
where next?
You earn 10x miles on hotels and rental cars, and 5x miles on flights booked through Capital One Travel, and 2x miles on everything else you buy with Venture X. Plus, receive premium travel benefits like access to over 1,300 airport lounges. The Venture X card from Capital One. What's in your wallet?
Terms apply. See CapitalOne.com for details.
Live and local. This is St. Louis's News Radio, KMOX.
Since the 26th Amendment was ratified in March of 1971, 18-year-olds have been able to vote in the United States. There are some people arguing that voting age should be raised to 21. On the other hand, the Missouri Democrats, for example, they want to lower that age to 17-year-olds who turn 18 by the November 2024 presidential election. At least that's what they plan to do for their primaries coming up here. So I know there are people, Brad Young in for Amy Marks Coors, I'm Chris Ranji, that think that people now at the age of 18 are not equipped to be able to make these decisions. Clearly, the counter argument to that is, well, if you can go to war and you can pick up a rifle for your country, you should be allowed to vote. And I think that is a rock solid argument. I don't think you can make a good argument against that. So if you're allowed to do that, why not be allowed to do this? What about lowering that age to 17? Or in some cases, there are some people who want it to be as low as 16.
Well, Chris, as I mentioned, I've got all daughters, and when my youngest daughter got her driver's license at 16, and I taught her how to drive, and she did a very good job. She's very responsible. And then when I asked her about how many of her friends were getting their driver's licenses, she said most were not because they were afraid to drive. And then when she turned 17, she would tell me about all of the friends she had to go pick up because they still didn't have their driver's licenses. And so it's a trend now that kids don't get their driver's license because they're afraid to drive. So I know, and I don't know about you, because you're a very, very responsible person, Chris.
Yes.
I just know that you are.
Yeah.
I was an idiot and a moron when I was 17. Some would say I haven't changed much. since then. But I just, if someone is afraid to get their driver's license, do we really want them to be voting at 17? I don't think so.
I know people who don't want to drive now who have been in adulthood for a long time because they think people are driving recklessly. So I don't know. Is that what it is? Is that what 16 and 17-year-olds are looking at that? Looking at traffic accidents or looking at people driving 150 down the highway, not getting pulled over, thinking, well, I don't want to drive. I mean, that seems reasonable to me.
Well, this past weekend, Labor Day weekend, I had some relatives over, and one of my cousin's daughters is 15 and trying to get her driver's license, and she's abandoned it. Just stopped even trying.
Yeah.
She said the idea of even operating a vehicle scares her to death. And again, I quizzed her. I said, how many of your friends are going through this process? And she said none of them, because no one wants to get their driver's license. I don't know that it's a fear of other drivers being crazy. I think it's a concern or a fear about operating the vehicle. Plus, when you're 17, we just got this new law in Missouri where you can't text and drive.
Yep.
That in of itself, I think, will prevent most people under the age of 25 from even operating a vehicle because they're going to be staring at their phones. And that's the same with baseball games. I said many years ago, if we want to increase attendance at Cardinals games, what we should do is live stream the game for people in sitting in the seats, because so many people have their faces glued to their phones that they would rather watch the game in the stadium on their phone rather than watching what's on the field right in front of them.
Well, here's what I'll say about that. I think what they have done with the rules changes, I thought it was as simple as make the games quicker, make more action happen in 2.5 hours as opposed to a death march for 3.5 or 4 hours, which is what it had been. And guess what?
Yeah,
it's
slog.
worked. It's worked. People are watching more. They're watching more on television. They're at the games more than they used to be. I think it's that simple. And you know what? I know I'm an adult. I'm well into adulthood. I'm on my phone all the time. I'm always looking at it. So I don't think it's exclusive to children. I think,
but that's,
I'm used
that's,
to it
that's
now.
an addiction. That's an addiction that you have to dopamine. That's a dopamine addiction that you have. I try not to be on my phone because I don't want to be addicted to dopamine. But my point is, if you've got 17-year-olds who can't get off their phones, who can't learn to drive, do we want them to vote? Also, and this is something I told all three of my children, I'm in the personal injury business. I represent companies who are getting sued. A lot of times it's because people are hurt. I'm representing the companies getting sued. So I spend all day, Chris, reviewing MRIs, reviewing medical records.
Yeah.
And MRI evidence shows that the human brain is not fully developed until age 25. So at that point, basically, you're saying if you want 17-year-olds to vote, you're in favor of folks who have cognitive impairment voting. And because that's what it is. I don't think I'm in favor of that.
Well, would you take it away then from an older person you believe to have cognitive impairment?
Well, that's a great question. Do we think, we look at the kind of candidates that we get today, the people that we elect, do we think that would go up with more people who have cognitive impairment voting?
Yeah.
I don't think that's going to make things better.
I think that it's a matter of you have to vote better, right? We complain about the candidates we have. We have to vote better, and we have to vote in primaries. If you want better candidates, we collectively, and this is all of us, have to vote in primaries, and you will get better candidates. That's what it all comes down to. 314-436-7900 to text or call the show. We've got some stuff to talk about. That Alex Murdaugh case is unbelievable. Brad Young has some legal expertise. We'll discuss that next on KMOX.
Following the Dave Glover Show at 5 o'clock, it's Total Information PM. Hey, I'm Michael Calhoun. Check in with Kevin Wheeler and me for the latest news and information. Roger covers your commute. Dave Murray's got the forecast. Matt Pauley has sports. We'll take deep dives on local issues and help you be a smarter consumer. At 5:30, the CBS Evening News helps you understand what's happening around the country and the world. Total Information PM at 5 o'clock, right after Dave Glover on the trusted voice of St. Louis, KMOX.
It's time for a $98 AC tune-up.
Spark St. Louis is the newest collaborative co-working office space located in the PwC Pennant Building at Ballpark Village. Spark supports local entrepreneurs and corporate professionals and features over 80 private offices, day pass options, monthly networking events, conference room, and special event amenities, while offering an innovative approach to city life where you can live, work, and watch the Cardinals play all within the neighborhood at Ballpark Village. Schedule your tour today by visiting Spark St. Louis online at spark-stl.com.
Hey, it's Tom Ackerman. It's always great to work with Spring Green, no matter the season. And this fall, aerating and overseeding your lawn is the best time to thicken up the yard. Take care of some of those trouble spots by reaching out to Spring Green, spring-green.com. Top dressing your lawn with compost is the single best thing you can do to your lawn every year. Shrub pruning, cutting back your perennials from the fall, installing a retaining wall can help with curb appeal as well. Spring-green.com.
Hi, this is Ken. And Lori Heisey of Heisey Advisory Group. We're dedicated to helping individuals and families work toward their financial goals. Join us Sundays at 9:30 a.m. for Your Retirement Highway.
Investment advisory services by individuals through AE Wealth Management, LLC.
AMCO presents Bet You Didn't Know.
Bet you didn't know that your car's transmission is made up of 800 pieces. Also, bet you didn't know that AMCO's fixed over 40 million transmissions, and that AMCO offers a nationwide warranty.
AMCO offers easy payment plan options for most any credit situation, so you can fix it fast and pay it off slow at AMCO.
That's AMCO, AA, MCO.
At 10:30, it's sunny and 76 degrees downtown at the Arch. Ukrainian officials say a Russian missile strike killed at least 16 people and wounded 31 others at an outdoor market in an eastern city. Secretary of State Antony Blinken is in Ukraine this morning. It's a public show of support by the Biden administration. He's expected to announce a new aid package worth over $1 billion. CBS's Imtiaz Tayeb.
Over the next 2 days, Blinken will meet with President Zelensky and is expected to announce that billion-dollar aid package, including at least $175 million in military support, as Ukraine's counteroffensive against Russia continues to make limited gains.
I'm Tom Ackerman. Cardinal baseball on the air tonight. 6:20 first pitch for Spencer Strider of the Braves. He'll try to hold off an offense that erupted last night in Atlanta. Nolan Gorman hit 2 home runs. Jordan Walker hit one in his hometown of Atlanta. He had 3 hits. Tyler O'Neill also had a home run. The Cardinals won the game 10-6, supporting Miles Michaelis. Dakota Hudson is the starting pitcher tonight. We'll have the pregame at 5:25. This Cardinals report sponsored by Aloha Pools USA. Swim next summer, alohapoolsusa.com.
We've got some debris on 370 going west at St. Louis Mills. The left lane, or rather the right lane, is closed. Also 70 east, there's a 2-vehicle crash past Route A, and we've also got a stall 270 north at 6440 in the left lane. This afternoon, breezy, not as hot, lower humidity with a high of 84. For tonight, the low 64, and for tomorrow through Sunday, we've got great weather with sunny skies and a high of 80 to 84 degrees each of those days, lows near 60 each night. Weather sponsored by the U.S. men's national soccer team. Get your tickets at ussoccer.com/tickets. The U.S. men's national team is coming to City Park on September 9th to take on Asian Cup qualifiers Uzbekistan. Come see the United States' brightest stars start their journey to the 2026 World Cup. Tickets on sale at ussoccer.com/tickets. World-class soccer, USA, Uzbekistan, September 9th at City Park. ussoccer.com/tickets. 76 downtown at the Arch. I'm Michael Calhoun, KMOX News.
This is Matt Spiegel of 670 The Score in Chicago, and my podcast, The PBP, Voices of Baseball, is all about the art and craft of play-by-play. Catch up on episodes with Joe Davis, Joe Buck, and many more. Then something crazy happened along the way. I did a weekend of Cubs Cardinals on the radio, so now conversations are enriched with feedback and advice from Jason Benetti, Boog Shambi, and others to come. The PBP, Voices of Baseball. I bring you the people who bring you the game. Listen on the Odyssey app or wherever you get your podcast.
Broadcast
Broadcasting from the underlying Tree Lawyers. GetJim.com studios.
KMOX.
Too many businesses sell for far less than they should. Clayton Capital Partners is one of the nation's top independent investment banking firms for the middle market, representing clients nationwide in multiple industries. Our process is designed to uncover and make the most of your company's competitive advantage. Create a sales strategy that highlights your company's value to potential buyers and identify outrageous buyers who will pay a premium for your business. All owners will exit their business. Make sure it is on your terms. ClaytonCapitalPartners.com. Over 30 years ago, it was that can-do spirit which helped the founder of Reinhold Flooring start the business, installing Reinhold quality carpet and beautiful flooring himself. Now, Reinhold Flooring is still family-owned and operated and winning St. Louis Magazine's best flooring store 2 years in a row. With Reinhold Flooring, it's not about the sale, it's about the amazing floor to perfectly match your house and your life. Customer-driven since day one. Visit ReinholdFlooring.com. With so many ideas you can do it with a can-do crew at Reinhold Flooring. ReinholdFlooring.com.
It's football season at Circa Resort and Casino in Las Vegas, featuring the best pool in history. Stadium Square, 3 levels, 6 pools, and a 143-foot diagonal screen. Stadium Swim is America's favorite place to watch football.
Touchdown! Unbelievable!
Stadium Swim, located at Circa Resort and Casino. Book today at CircaLasVegas.com. That's CircaLasVegas.com.
Find out what's happening with your Redbirds from the manager himself, Oliver Marmol. Sunday mornings at 10:15 on Sports on a Sunday morning, and Wednesday mornings at 9:50. The Ollie Marmol Show on Cardinals Radio, KMOX.
It's Chris and Amy on KMOX, but Amy is out. She's in Montana? Idaho. I don't know. She's somewhere. She is out of town. She'll be back on Friday, I believe. I've got Brad Young sitting in with me, Chris Ranji, today until 1 o'clock when the Dave Glover Show takes over. I don't know how much. In fact, well, I know you've been following this, Brad, but the Alex Murdaugh case, the murder trial, he was convicted for the murders in June of 2021, the murders of his wife, his 52-year-old wife, and his 22-year-old son, Paul. And he was found guilty of that recently. Again, a crime that took place a little over a couple of years ago. So he was recently found guilty here in 2023. Well, now he's asking for a new trial. And he says that a clerk was tampering with the jury and telling them to dismiss his testimony. Which, again, you are a legal expert. I have never heard of anything like that. It seems kind of like a fantastical claim. So is that unusual for that to happen? And does it look like they might have something here?
Well, Chris, I don't know if there's certain types of movies that you don't like to watch. One of the movies, and I am answering your question, but one of the movies or TV shows I don't like to watch are legal dramas. And the reason why is multifaceted, but the biggest reason is that there are these concocted storylines that are so far removed from reality that I just sit there and my ability to suspend disbelief just crumbles. But this could be a plot line for next season's something, a legal drama. Yeah, legal drama on Netflix. What is it? The Lincoln Lawyer. I've been watching The Lincoln Lawyer.
Oh, yeah.
This is straight out of The Lincoln Lawyer.
So this is ridiculous, right?
It
is a ridiculous storyline. Okay.
It's absurd. I did some quick research this morning trying to look into this. I found lots of circumstances over the years in various states where, bailiffs would give the jury some tips on what evidence to consider and what evidence to reject. And those cases are the verdicts are almost always overturned, and then it goes back for another jury trial. So in this instance, I think that they do have the defense. And when I say they, I mean the defense team, Murdaugh's defense team. They've got an extremely valid argument because they've got not only what she did, which was, again, multifactorial. There was one instance where she told the jury allegedly to disregard Murdaugh's testimony whenever he was getting ready to testify. I think she said something like, "Don't be distracted by his testimony."
Yep.
So we've got the facts of that. We've got a fact of her getting one of the potential jurors disqualified based upon Facebook postings that, at least according to the defense team, were fictitious. They were made up and made up by her, according again to the defense team. So if that's the case, you've got direct evidence of jury tampering when you get someone kicked off a jury because they might acquit. Now, the next thing is motive. Why on earth would she do that? Well, the defense team has nailed this one as well.
Yeah.
Because she's got the book deal. And let's face it, a book deal that says Alex Murdaugh was acquitted. I mean, nobody's going to buy that book. They want to get a book where he's convicted. And so not only do they have the facts of what she did, they've got the reasoning for how she did it, and they've got motive for why she did it. This is extremely compelling.
Is it a leap, though, to say, well, she has this book deal now, but to make the connection that the reason she did all that was so she can have a book deal later and so she can be famous, which is what they're alleging here? Because one thing does not necessarily mean the other. It can be that she did this just because she wanted to, and then subsequently was offered a book deal, that she not necessarily did this because she was trying to get a book deal later. Is it a difficult thing to prove that is why? And do they have to prove that is why she did it?
I don't think that they have to prove it. And that's a great question, Chris. I don't think that they have to prove exactly when she reached out to get a book deal. But if the case is sent back and there's a hearing on whether Murdaugh gets a new trial or not, then that would allow the defense team perhaps to send out some subpoenas or to take some testimony on this issue, and they could nail that down if necessary. But I don't think it's really necessary to do. But there's also two other factors here, Chris, that I find just fascinating. And that is that if this, and I, as I looked into it yesterday, the Court of Appeals in South Carolina has to grant this. And in all likelihood, they will. But one of the issues one of the other issues that's going to come up here is that apparently the judge in this case, we all watch this case almost like the OJ trial. We watched it every day. We were getting updates on it in the evenings. And the judge, I believe his name was Judge Newman, he now, according to the defense, was made aware that this clerk had been doing some degree of interference with the jury, and he didn't take any action on it. So if that is the case, when this case gets reopened or gets sent back for a hearing, if the judge becomes a witness, then the judge has to recuse himself as the judge for the next trial, assuming that that's what happens. So to me, even if the defense wants to get a new trial on this, the judge wasn't exactly sympathetic to Alex Murdaugh. So now you knock the judge out and you get the shot at getting a better judge.
Do they have to prove that, and Becky Hill is the name of the court clerk that's in question here, do they have to prove then that what she did influenced any of the members of the jury?
It's interesting. This is one of those situations, Chris, where, and this is not an uncommon situation, where statutory law sometimes differs from what we call case law or decisions from the Court of Appeals. Just this morning, I looked up the South Carolina Rules of Criminal Procedure under Rule 27B, and it states that in a situation where you're alleging that there was some undue influence, you have to absolutely prove that it made a difference to the outcome of the case. And yet the case law from South Carolina indicates that in cases like with a bailiff, that simply proving that someone who was in a position of authority did something improper, that is sufficient. So the fact that the county clerk, Becky Hill, allegedly made these statements, that I think is more than enough. But if they're able to prove that she actually manipulated the judge into excluding a juror based upon Facebook posts that did not exist for the purpose of getting rid of someone who might vote to acquit, that would be more than enough to get this case sent back for a new trial.
I think most people who paid any attention to what was going on, based on the reporting we got, what we learned in court, I mean, the dude probably did it, right? I mean, come on, he did, right? So I think the average person looks at that and says, you can't let somebody off or get them a new trial on a technicality. Clearly, the guy did it. But I kind of agree with this idea that, look, even the worst people in the world, because we have decided as a country, this is who we are, right? That everybody's getting a fair trial. Everybody is getting representation. Everybody. That's what we decided. So we either live by that or we don't. And even in cases like this guy is awful. Even in something like this, you have to give the guy a fair trial. So I do agree here, even though it sucks, and he's very clearly a bad person, he should be afforded fairness in a trial just like anybody else.
Listen, if you don't have a system where a person gets a fair trial, basically you're Russia, all right, where someone could be convicted just because Putin says convict them. And so we don't want that kind of a system. And it's interesting. That's one of the most common questions, Chris, that I get when I'm at dinner parties or I'm at events and people, oh, you're an attorney. Well, how could you represent someone that you know to be guilty? I say, well, first of all, I only do civil law, so that's not an issue for me. But even if you have a pro-police stance, as I do, the fact is, under our system, it's the government's burden to prove that you're guilty. So even if someone is obviously guilty, they deserve that vigorous defense to make sure that the government meets that standard of their burden of proof to convict somebody. Because listen, taking away your freedom or taking away your life, that's the most valuable things that you have, your freedom and your life. And so before the government can take those things away from you, they've got to meet a certain standard, and that's what defense attorneys are for. And listen, the other aspect, in case someone's wondering, oh, sheesh, is this guy going to walk? He's already ready to plead guilty to all of the financial misdealings that came out during the trial. And that probably would keep him in prison, most likely for the rest of his life.
Yeah.
So even if he gets a new trial, it's not like he's going to be, going to eat ice cream with Joe Biden anytime soon.
Right. So I know that I don't know how I feel about this. I think there are people who, even though if you're a victim of a crime, you're the family member of a victim of a crime, and that perpetrator has been put in prison for a different crime. Say this person murdered multiple people, but they're only convicted of one murder, and it's not your family member's murder. I understand the idea of, well, I want it to be recognized in court that he is responsible for my loved one's death too, that it's not enough for him to just be in jail, whether he's in jail for tax fraud or financial stuff or murder. I want it to be acknowledged officially that he killed my sister or he killed my father or whatever it is. Is that something that should be pursued then?
Yeah, I think it should be pursued. Absolutely. Because the victims need to have that resolution. And generally speaking, the family members of murder victims need to have that sense of closure. And I think that the government has the burden to prosecute that crime when they have the opportunity to do so, even if it's prosecuting someone who's been, has received a jail sentence of 300 years. It's still important to prosecute them to make sure that the system works. But here, remember, when this case, if a new trial is granted, that new jury is going to hear the exact same evidence that Murdaugh lied to the police, that he initially said he wasn't anywhere near the dog kennels, that he wasn't anywhere around there. He was in his house resting, and then he testified in court that he was there. The video showed him there. The audio showed him there, proved that he was there. So they're going to hear all of that same evidence all over again. And I'm pretty certain that even another jury would reach the same conclusion.
Yeah, I mean, you're probably right. It's unfortunate for people that they have to go through it again. But hopefully it serves as a deterrent to, the clerk or whoever else. Let's not tamper in the future because there are some real consequences for it.
Can you imagine? Can you imagine what kind of instructions are going to be given to the court staff if this gets a new trial?
Don't talk at all.
Don't even tell them what time it is.
Yeah,
Just don't even look at them.
Don't say anything. Don't even say hello.
Anything. Just stand there.
But it will be funny if he has the Al Capone treatment where he goes to jail for financial stuff and not all the people he killed.
Exactly.
Yeah, that's what
The Al Capone treatment. That's good.
Yeah. Well, tax evasion. Hey, we
I
can't
know,
get
that's
him.
a good way of putting it.
We can't get him on any of these clear murders. So how about he didn't pay his taxes? That'll have to do. All right. That's Brad Young. I'm Chris Ranji. Did you see this next on KMOX?
You had a solid retirement dream. Sell your home in a few years, bank the equity, downsize, and travel. But inflation and recession has you wondering if all your hard-earned equity will still be there. What if you could recession-proof your equity right now? You can with TrueHold. TrueHold will buy your home for its best current value before a recession can erode it. You get to bank all the cash now and live in your home for as long as you want. And TrueHold covers all property taxes, insurance, repairs, and maintenance. And since TrueHold pays your home's current value in cash now, it's yours to do whatever you'd like. Don't wait for inflation, recession, and interest rates to erode your home's value. Visit TrueHold.com and discover how much TrueHold will buy your home for today, based on its best current value, not what's coming. Call 1-855-300-9993 or visit TrueHold.com. The smarter, faster way to cash out on your home's value without having to move. That's TrueHold.com. The best season of the year has arrived. Football season. And all season long, Ballpark Village is your go-to place to watch the Kansas City Chiefs games. There'll be watch parties for every game. So grab your friends and come on down and support the Chiefs. Or if you can't make it, tune into KMOX and listen to the broadcasts on the Odyssey app. Every watch party sponsored by Bud Light. Bud Light, official beer sponsor of the NFL. Easy on Sunday, easy to enjoy.
With the Wholesale Formula Seminar, find out how to start your own Amazon business.
Hey, I'm Rick Manello. 2 years after attending the Wholesale Formula Seminar, I was able to sell my Amazon business for over $400,000.
Hi, I'm Amy Sherlock. I attended the Wholesale Formula Seminar to learn how to work from home while raising my son. Today, I do $175,000 in sales per month.
Hi, I'm Hillary. Before attending the Wholesale Formula Seminar, I was a school teacher. Today, I work from home selling products on Amazon.
Hi, Ian Bauer. My first year averaged $45,000 a month in sales. Now I'm at $90,000 a month and hardly working.
Whether you have a business and want to sell more on Amazon, retired, or just need extra money, America's Amazon expert Dylan Frost will show you how. Attend Dylan's live in-person seminar for only $49.99, guaranteed, or your money back. That's right. Discover the easy way to make money with Amazon. Meet Dylan Frost at the Wholesale Formula Live 2-hour seminar Saturday, September 30th, 11 a.m. at Aviator Hotel, Lindbergh Boulevard, St. Louis, Missouri. Register at thewholesaleformula.com.
You know, the Midwest Money slogan, isn't cash in the bank better than scrap in the drawer? This is Johnny Rabbit. Midwest Money, the oldest coin shop in St. Louis. Buying, selling, and trading since 1971. Silver and gold, coins, sterling silver, flags, medals, daggers, and more. Not sure what you have? Bring your collectibles to someone you can trust. Midwest Money, at the corner of Hampton and Holly Hills. You'll be happy you did.
Different real estate agents will sell your home for different amounts of money. This is Debbie Monterey. Don't be fooled into thinking that all realtors are created equally, because they are not. Different realtors will get you different results. So the agent you choose to sell your home matters. The experience your agent has, the marketing, the database of buyers, the systems and capabilities of your realtor, they all matter. Why? Because how much you sell your home for matters to you. That's why I recommend you call Gloria Liu with Your Home Sold Guaranteed Realty. According to MLS statistics, Gloria sells her listings for more money than the average agent, and she does it with less hassle. With 20 plus years of experience, our local real estate expert, Gloria Liu, knows how to get you the most money for your home guaranteed. Gloria also offers her sellers multiple selling options. So call Gloria Liu at 314-325-6888, 314-325-6888, or visit gloriahasthebuyers.com.
AMZN.com. Gloria and seller must agree on price and possession date. Hi, it's Debbie Monterey, and I see clearly thanks to Doctors Birdie and Malhotra. You can too. Go to youridoc.com today or call 314-966-5000.
I'm Jim Brennan. McKelvey Homes is celebrating 125 years with our inventory home sale. And for every home sold, McKelvey Homes will donate $1,898 to Dravet Syndrome Foundation. Visit McKelveyHomes.com.
Together Credit Union is the official banking partner of St. Louis City SC, which means Together Credit Union is the only place to find the official City SC debit card, which comes with special perks. There's no cost for the City SC debit card, so don't wait and sign up today online at togethercu.org. Together Credit Union, federally insured by NCUA.
Angie makes it easier than ever to connect with skilled professionals to get your home projects done well, from repair to remodel. Book instantly at an upfront price or request quotes from multiple pros. Get started on the app or go to Angie.com. That's ANGI.com.
It's wonderful. It's incredible.
It's the Chris and Amy Show on KMOX.
Did you see that thing? I can't believe it. Something is obviously wrong.
This is a joke, right?
Oh my God. Are you freaking kidding me? No way.
You gotta be kidding me. Don't feel bad. There's no way you could have known that.
Now, did you see this with Chris and Amy on the show?
Got a pair of Bob Dylan tickets we're going to give away before the show is over today. October 4th at Stifel. He will be performing there. We've got a pair. We're giving away tickets all week for Bob Dylan, in fact. So you want to be listening to the show for your chance to win. Brad Young is in for Amy today. I'm Chris Ranji. I don't know if you saw this, Brad, or not. And I debate whether or not I want to tell you the story, but I think it's important. Did you see the story about the Delta flight that was leaving from Atlanta going to Barcelona? Did you hear about this?
Is this? Yes. This is the one where there was, shall we say, human waste
There was an accident.
Oh, yeah.
There was an accident.
Had a
Brad.
colon blow.
Colon blowing you in the morning. All right. The yes, a flight was diverted. Well, it had to return back to Atlanta because a passenger suffered what they called originally a medical issue, and that is one way to describe it.
Yeah, I guess it could be. Sure.
There's video of it too that had been.
Oh, I haven't seen the video.
Well, not of the person trying to make it to the lab. It was the aftermath of what happened when the flight had been cleared, and it's everywhere. But
oh my goodness,
oh my gosh, I think that everybody seeing this story, and we're not explicit about what happened, but I think you can surmise what happened just by the way we're talking about it. A person couldn't make it to the bathroom. Let's just put it that way. I think every one of us that saw this story, your first thought is, oh my God, what if that happened to me? Can you just imagine the shame, the embarrassment? Just all, I mean, I can't even put my head around how awful every single part of that would be.
But the fact that a flight had to be diverted, I've been in some planes, I'm sure you have too, where there were lots of things going on where they didn't have to divert the plane. But to have I'm trying to dance around the issue, the description. But to have that kind of a problem and it caused the plane to have to divert, that just shows you how serious it was.
Yes. There's a cockpit recording of the pilot having to, I guess, tell air traffic control we have to come back. He called it a biohazard issue and said
a biohazard issue
and said he had the thing all the way through the airplane. We have to come back to Atlanta. It's just, it is mortifying, every bit of that.
Well, I've always heard where they say, hey, is there a doctor on the plane? But now they're saying, is there a mop on the plane?
Oh, my God. Okay. Well, speaking of that, let's talk food with George Mahey, dining editor at St. Louis Magazine, next on KMOX.
When you want a brand new kitchen, there's nothing to it. There's a brand new way to do it. 3-Day Kitchen and Bath.
James talks about his experience with 3-Day Kitchen and Bath.
My wife and I had been talking for several years about getting our kitchen and bathroom remodeled. We'd had some bids actually been made. The thing that always put us off was that They were talking about 2 or 3 months to get all this work done. We heard about 3-day bath and kitchen. We thought that we'd give it a try. They spent 3 days on one of our items and 4 days on another, and the cost was about the same thing as all of the people gave us 3-month estimates for. They went out of their way to make sure that we were satisfied with everything when the job was finished. There's simply no question about the idea that they want satisfied customers and they want people who are pleased with their work.
It's about time.
3 days or less
at 3-Day Kitchen and Bath.
I'm Ty Burrell, actor and small business owner. I'm going to show you my 5 steps for making the perfect radio ad. This one's about innovation refunds and the ERC. First step, be relatable. As a small business owner, I know that filing for the ERC tax refund can feel complicated and confusing. Also, I like pizza and puppies. There, done. Step 2, cold hard info. The ERC, or Employee Retention Credit for long, is a tax credit for eligible businesses that kept employees on payroll in 2020 and 2021. So if you qualify, Innovation Refunds Network of Independent Tax Attorneys could help you claim it. Step 3, call to action. Go to innovationrefunds.com to get started. Step 4, the jingle I wrote myself. Actually, scratch that. Just go to innovationrefunds.com or call 1-843-REFUNDS and go to Step 5. Legal stuff.
Innovation Refunds does not provide tax or legal advice. We work with an independent network of tax professionals. Terms and conditions apply. Ty is a paid spokesman.
Yeah, it's a masterpiece.
KMOX, KEZK, HD2, K254CR, St. Louis.
The home of the Cardinals, KMOX. Always live on the free Odyssey app.
When choosing a skilled nursing memory care community, considered by U.S. News and World Reports as a best memory care community, choose Park Provence, where expert care is not cost prohibitive because they understand the challenges of today. For nearly 20 years, Park Provence has been the experts at treating dementia and Alzheimer's disease. If you're faced with making a difficult decision for your loved one, call today at 314-542-2500 or visit parkprovence.com. That's P-A-R-C Provence.com.
Put on your blue suede shoes and join Stages St. Louis for the grand finale of their 2023 season. It's $1 Million Quartet, featuring the music of Elvis Presley, Johnny Cash, Jerry Lee Lewis, and Carl Perkins. Don't miss the legendary story of the recording session that changed rock and roll history. $1 Million Quartet plays September 8th through October 8th in the Ross Family Theater at the Kirkwood Performing Arts Center. Purchase tickets today at stagesstlewis.org or call 314-821-2407.
Mid-America's most trusted source for news. KMOX.
At 11 o'clock, it's sunny and 78 degrees downtown at the Arch. I'm Michael Calhoun. Our top story this hour: the current contracts between the United Auto Workers and the Big Three automakers expire next week. KMOX asked St. Louis University business professor Jerome Katz how big the split is between the two sides.
Humongous. It's the only way to put it.
Katz says the union is making significant demands.
For example, the union's initial demand is a 46% pay increase, dropping to 32 hours a week, although people would still be paid for 40 hours, and going back to the old models of pensions.
The only comment from automakers, including GM, which owns a plant in Wentzville, is that they hope to avert a strike. A new report shows that most of the big car manufacturers are not doing a good job when it comes to securing vehicles from getting hacked. Auto reporter Jeff Gilbert explains.
Your vehicle knows a lot about you, but do you know who that data is being shared with? The nonprofit Mozilla Foundation charges that car makers don't even do the minimum to protect consumers. Car companies disagree, saying protecting customers' privacy needs is a priority for them.
The development of downtown Chesterfield appears to be on the move again, as the city council voted unanimously last night to allow for the removal of Chesterfield Mall to be replaced with a mixed-use development.
A lot of steps and a lot of things that have got to happen yet, but this is a very important big step last night.
Chesterfield Mayor Bob Nation says the plan does not involve moving City Hall or the police department into the development area. Developer the Steinberg Group is poised to tear down the old mall to build over 2,500 apartments plus offices and retail space. CBS News correspondent Jim Krasula has the latest on a legal fight over redistricting in the Deep South.
The state of Alabama is asking the U.S. Supreme Court to intervene after a federal appeals court panel threw out the state's latest Republican second-drawn congressional redistricting map. The court found that it illegally dilutes the voting power of blacks, who make up nearly 30% of the state's population.
It was the second time the redistricting map was rejected by the court. The KMOX Business Desk, home purchases fall.
A gauge of U.S. mortgage applications for home purchases fell to a 28-year low last week, underscoring the stifling effect of high mortgage rates on buyer demand. The Mortgage Bankers Association index of home purchase applications fell 2.1%, the lowest level since April 1995. Erica Herskowitz, Bloomberg Radio.
Dow from Stifel's down 222 points to 34,419. We've got the 70 West exit at Shreve that is closed because of a stalled vehicle. Also some debris that's on 370 going west to St. Louis Mills. And we've also got some debris on 44 West before the Six Flags exit. The left lane there is closed.
The rest of the day into the afternoon, breezy, not as hot, lower humidity with sun and some clouds up to 84, and then down to the low to mid-60s, mainly clear tonight. Beautiful September weather tomorrow, all the way through Sunday. Highs in the lower to middle 80s with some sunshine and low humidity. I'm acupuncture Ian DeVore on the Voice of St. Louis, KMOX.
We've got sun. It's 76 in Florissant, 75 St. Peter's, 78 downtown at the Arch. Sponsored by the U.S. Men's National Soccer Team. Get your tickets at ussoccer.com/tickets. The U.S. Men's National Team is coming to City Park on September 9th to take on Asian Cup qualifiers Uzbekistan. Come see the United States' brightest stars start their journey to the 2026 World Cup. Tickets on sale now at ussoccer.com/tickets. World-class soccer, USA, Uzbekistan, September 9th at City Park. Get your tickets now, ussoccer.com/tickets. I'm Michael Calhoun, KMOX News.
It's the Chris and Amy show on KMOX. Amy's out. Brad Young is in. I'm Chris Ranji. We are joined in studio by the dining editor at St. Louis Magazine. George Mahey is with us in studio. How you doing, George?
Good morning. I'm great. Beautiful
Good.
day out there.
It is a wonderful
Beautiful day for lunch on a patio.
Yeah. All right. So what are some good recommendations? Because we're getting close to that time where it is real patio weather, not like, well, it's summer and because the sun's out, you're supposed to be outside, even though it's 140 degrees. We're getting to that time. Today is what, going to be 79-ish? This is great weather to be outside.
Yeah.
What are some good patio weather ideas?
I like any of the patios in Webster, from Robust to Olive and Oak. Parkmore has a little sidewalk patio there. I don't think Big Sky Cafe is open for lunch anymore. I'm not sure, but their patio is great. You know, that's the patio that sits right out on the street, and it's about, 50 yards from the railroad tracks. So when those freight trains come through, you know about it.
Yeah.
But that's one of my favorites is Big Sky Cafe. That's been there for decades. And people forget about it because it's off the main drag. It's down that side street toward the railroad tracks. So, the patios in Clayton are always fun and action-packed. During the week, there's a little more activity there. There's, I think during the pandemic, everybody kind of amped up their patio game. If they didn't have one, they got one. And if they had it, they, put a cover on it or spiffed it up a little bit, because that was the only way you were doing business for quite a time. So, the net result is the patio scene has gotten a lot more robust. I was just at Sasha's, and they've got a upstairs deck now that they've got a cover for. I haven't seen the cover in operation, but that whole operation is just really cool. Sidewalk dining, and then you can go upstairs and kind of, watch all the goings on below.
It's on Damon, right?
Yes.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. So that's just a really cool one. And I was just there the other night. It was just a great experience. When it's 80 degrees, it's kind of like being on vacation. It's like, wait, we usually pay for this kind of weather.
Yeah, it's time to take advantage of it, because it is going to go away and it will be cold. You mentioned before, Brad has a question for you. You mentioned dining outdoors and how people really stepped it up during the pandemic. One of the things I loved, and I guess they had to do it in bigger cities, they just close off streets.
Yeah.
Just full streets now are closed off on Fridays, Saturdays. Euclid did it in my neighborhood. And I think they still do a movie night kind of thing. But that was awesome.
That was cool.
I
That
loved
was definitely a pandemic reaction.
Yeah.
And it's like, what else are we going to do? You saw the return of those parklets, those little bump outs that would take up 2 parking spaces. It's this little structure and that was kind of cool too. Gave the folks another 6, 8, 10 tables. That's the difference between profit and loss on some nights. So yeah, a lot of creativity, you saw a lot of, tents and a lot of structures, a lot of roofs being built during the pandemic, and all that is still there. So you were the beneficiaries.
George, there's an issue that my wife and I love to talk about when we go out to eat. And it's really funny. A lot of the places you've mentioned here today are places my wife and I frequent. But the question that comes is, should we be tipping on the pre-tax meal or the post-tax meal when it comes to determining the tip for the waiter?
You can open that question up at a dinner table, and you can take you right through to dessert with that one. It's an interesting story. I mean, tipping that's probably the thing I get asked about the most. Nobody wants to be a bad tipper, look like a tip schmuck, or be on the bad side. So everybody's always asking me, what's the right percentage? How do we do it? And, since COVID, everybody got to be really generous. I mean, people were tipping 20, 30, 50, 100%. Just, hey, thank you for being here. Thanks for, staying in business to feed us. And there was some, hangover effect there. And it's like, okay, now that the pandemic's gone, do we really have to tip 30? It's kind of reality has set in, and notions, like tip fatigue and things like that when you're getting prompted to tip this amount or that amount or 20, 30%. So I am going to get to your question, Brad. So what happened is that, people are just, looking for ways not to cheap out, but it's like, boy, we really need to examine this, because with inflation and with pricing, and all of a sudden your $50 meal at a restaurant is now $80 or $90. And so everybody's kind of looking at, like, how much should I tip? How much should I be tipping? Should I be tipping on pre or post tax? And, traditionally, I'll make a generalization that most people tip post tax. And, that's a lot of it just is from habit. It's convenience, that's the last big total you see, and you go, okay, it's this big total, and then it says tip, and you go, you do the math. And, in all honesty, the difference between pre-tax and post-tax isn't that much. It's not that big of a dollar amount if you really think about it. So a lot of the restaurant folks and me too just say, go ahead and tip on the post-tax. If you do that, you're not going to get a stink eye from any server anywhere. 20% post-tax is a good amount. And, I just think, and skillful servers out there are a little bit on the rare side post-pandemic. I don't mind throwing a few dollars extra, that way. Now, that said, there are, you've seen these things at the bottom, recommended tips,
Right. And I was going to get to that. You beat me to it. Go ahead.
Well, you've got your, $92. Here's, 15%, 18%, 20%. And those are usually based on the pre-tax amount. If you do the math, most of them are pre-tax, and you go, well, wait, the restaurants are endorsing pre-tax. Why should I be tipping post-tax? It's a pretty good logic for
argument.
For tipping pre-tax. And another guy said, yeah, that's fine. It isn't that much money, but I go out to eat a lot, and I spend a lot of money, and at the end of the year, that extra couple bucks adds up. It's $300, $400, $500, and that's 4 or 5 meals for me. So the aggregate amount you've got to take into consideration. The other thing is the tax rates in general. They're pretty standard. They're fairly standard around St. Louis. I think 10% is just that's a fair amount. That's an average amount. But like in Oregon, there's no sales tax, so you don't even have a choice there. You're tipping on which is interesting. And then you go on the flip side, in resort areas, it's like you'll see all kinds of resort tax and this tax and that tax, and you go, wait a minute, how do I tip on this? So it gets to be kind of a it's a thorny exercise, and I know that all my cheap friends tip pre-tax, and some of us tip post-tax, and I don't know that the argument's ever going to go away, but it sure is interesting. How about you, Brad? Which do you do?
Well, I do post-tax, but I do have to tell you that, and I tip very well, but I have to tell you, one of my pet peeves is I've seen some restaurants now, they don't just have the breakdown of what 10, 15, 20, 25% equates to. They have check boxes where you can just check the box and here's the total with a 20% tip or with a 15% tip. But sometimes I'll tip more than that. And so I think if they're going to give me those check boxes, that means they don't want me to tip more than what the check boxes are.
Oh, they do, but they can't.
So
it gets a little presumptuous. Like, should we put a 30% box there? They'd get more trouble for that.
Yeah, and here's the thing: if you get those check boxes, if you have the 3 options or whatever it is, if you don't pick the highest option, you look like a real jerk. You have to pick the highest option.
There's so much psychology and it's so much angst and guilt. It's like, okay, now here come the boxes. What am I going to do? I don't want to be that guy.
Here's one thing I am going to say. This is universal that I think most people know this, but just to reiterate, if you have a gift card and there's a difference to make up, you're paying on the total, not what's left. You're tipping on what the total would have been without the gift card.
Right.
That's number one. The other one is if you get a discount because, I don't know, you know the guy that owns the place, or
it's
good neighbor discount.
It's a buy one, get one, or it's happy hour and there's a discount. I know where you're going.
You are paying on the total before the discount. You're tipping on the total before the discount, not after the
and
fact.
So many people don't realize that,
Yes.
don't do it. They'll just, here's my happy hour drinks, and I paid $20. I'm going to tip them $4. No, you probably should have tipped them about $8.
Exactly.
But and the reason being, they're pretty much you're getting the same service whether it's a discounted meal or not. The guy's coming to the table, he's taking your orders, taking the drink orders, refilling, he's doing everything he normally does. So don't take the tip out on the guy just because you're getting a deal. Pass it along, pass on along the largesse to the server.
Yes,
and largesse.
Yeah, I love that.
Yeah, you smile.
Well done. And lastly, before we get to some openings and closings, we're going to do that here on the tipping thing. I think the one thing people really want to know now: carry out. Let's talk about carry out because that one's more difficult because for a while the standard was 10% on tip on carry out, but then during the pandemic people are telling you, well, you got to tip 20 on carry out. It has to be at least this amount. Where are we on carry out now in 2023?
How does across the board sound? No, it could be it's anywhere. If a guy's putting a bagel in a bag and handing it to you, I could make a case for this guy's just doing his job back there, and he's probably making a decent salary. They are now. So I mean, there are times if it's just a 5-second transaction, I'm not going to leave a tip. It's this guy's doing his order taker cashier job. Now when service starts getting, if the guy's doing something extra or he's bagging this up and asking you questions and do you want this and can I get you that and how about a little extra, mustard or whatever. At that point, okay, this guy's trying to take care of me, and I think that should be reflected in a tip. And the answer to your question is a minimum of 10%.
Okay.
And it goes up from there. And if the guy's just knocking it out and smiley, and boy, I like, making a really nice experience for you to pick that up, hey, that's worth something to me. I like guys like that.
That was me as a server. Real smiley.
Kisser.
Sure.
Well, I almost said it.
Almost got in trouble.
Yep. But and the other thing about tipping is a lot of people are. This does happen. People get what I call tip jacked. Do you know what tip jacking is? That's when someone in the house, not you, is manipulating your tip and turning that 3 into an 8, and that kind of stuff happens. So you have to be conscious of that, and a lot of people will round up to that. Some servers sometimes hate the guys that do that. They make sure the total is $97 or $102. Right. Well, they do that. A lot of them say, hey, that's so I know nobody's going to manipulate anything. The other thing is to bring along some cash and put a big line through that tip line, or put cash. And that's what they really, cash is still king, by the way. There's been, that's another discussion. Do servers care? Not that much, but they still like cash.
I'll tell you what, George, you want to stick around for one more?
Sure.
Let's do this. When we come back, we will talk about, now that we got the tipping thing nailed down.
Now that we all have, lessened the guilt.
And so this is the primer. So if you did not hear anything, you'll have to go back and get the podcast. And this is definitive. Everything George said about tipping is definitive. Just listen to this segment and you're all set. So when we come back, we will talk about what's coming, what's going on the restaurant scene here in St. Louis with George Mahey, dining editor at St. Louis Magazine, on the Chris and Amy Show on KMOX.
We go where you go. 1120 AM, 98.7 FM, KMOX.com.
Hi, my name is Dan Packard. I was on my way to work, and the gentleman behind me hit me. We called Morgan & Morgan. From that moment on, everything else Morgan & Morgan took care of. They emailed us all the time. They constantly stayed in touch with us.
We have been really blessed to have them in our corner. And it really did feel like family.
Morgan & Morgan did it all with literally one phone call.
Last year, more clients hired Morgan & Morgan than ever before. With over 2 million phone calls last year alone, more people in more cities across America want more Morgan & Morgan. When you hire Morgan & Morgan, you're also hiring a family business. And after 35 years, we now have more offices, more staff, and more lawyers than any other injury firm in the world. Protecting America, fighting for you. Visit forthepeople.com for an office near you.
Hi, this is Ken.
And Lori Heisey of Heisey Advisory Group. We're dedicated to helping individuals and families work toward their financial goals.
Join us Sundays at 9:30 a.m. for Your Retirement Highway.
Investment advisory services by individuals through AE Wealth Management, LLC.
Hey, it's Tom Ackerman. It's always great to work with Spring Green, no matter the season. And this fall, aerating and overseeding your lawn is the best time to thicken up the yard. Take care of some of those trouble spots by reaching out to Spring Green, spring-green.com. Top dressing your lawn with compost is the single best thing you can do to your lawn every year. Shrub pruning, cutting back your perennials from the fall, installing a retaining wall can help with curb appeal as well. Spring-green.com.
I'm Brian Westbrook with Coalition Life. Over the past decade, Coalition Life has served thousands of women in crisis pregnancies, helping to save the lives of the children that they carry. Help us build a better community while also reducing or completely eliminating your Missouri taxes with a 70% tax credit. A $1,000 donation today to help these women could cost you as little as $141 out of pocket. Learn more at coalitionlife.com, coalitionlife.com. Thank you.
Hey, this is Charlie Brennan. Have you noticed loose bricks or missing mortar around your house, on the walls, the patios, the walkways, the porch, or the chimneys? If so, you need to call Morelli Tuck Pointing. 314-645-1387. You might need one of two things: solid tuck pointing, the removal of old mortar with the replacement of new mortar throughout an entire wall or chimney, or maybe just spot tuck pointing. Spot tuck pointing involves the tuck pointing of a particular wall, a chimney, or other masonry surface in an area where it's needed the most. One example might be settlement cracks, usually found above or below windows or doorways. 314-645-1387. Call the company that the Brennans have called when we've needed tuck pointing. Morelli Tuck Pointing, the masonry specialists. Winner of the Angie's List Super Service Award every year since 2005. 314-645-1387, MorelliTuckPointing.com.
Ugh, I don't have time for a cold.
Honey.
Honey.
You need DayQuil Severe Honey flavor.
DayQuil Severe Honey gives you powerful cold and flu symptom relief with a honey-licious taste. Because life doesn't stop for a cold.
Okay, I'm ready to go.
Now I'm getting a cold.
Honey.
Try DayQuil Severe Honey for powerful cold and flu relief. DayQuil Severe Honey flavor. The daytime coughing, aching, stuffy head, fever, honey-licious. Power through your day, medicine. Use as directed. Keep out of reach of children.
Attorney Joe Cordell.
Business owners and professionals face special challenges in divorce court. In addition to everything else going on, they have to contend with allegations that they are earning more than they are, coupled with claims on their business or practice itself. Clients with assets depend on their divorce lawyer's skills in these matters, and that's why it's so important to hire someone that has those skills.
The choice of a lawyer is an important decision and should not be based solely upon advertisements. 600 Kelwood Parkway, Suite 310, Town and Country, Missouri, 63017. CordellCordell.com.
Best newscast in the country. The KMOX Newsroom, national winner of the Edward R. Murrow Award for Best Newscast in America.
We've got dining editor George Mahey in studio. He's with St. Louis Magazine. It's Brad Young and Chris Ranji today on KMOX. I'm looking at the list of openings and closings, and
it's another monster.
Well, the good news is that there's more coming in than we're losing.
And there always is, and there always has been, and I hope there always will be. But I've talked about this before. I've been compiling this list for 15 years, and I started it in 2008 when the recession was here. And I thought, oh man, I better start writing down the closures because they're going to be coming fast and furious. And they didn't. I mean, yes, it was a bad time, but I catalog them every month, as I still do, and there's always a lot more openings than closings. And by that I mean 2 to 3 to 4 times more. And I think what did we have this month? In August there was 1, 2, 3, 5 or 6, but there was about 25 openings. So there's a factor of 4 for you. So it's everybody, and we tend to get upset over the places that have been around that have closed, been around a long time, but it's some need to close, honestly. And it's a cyclical thing. And, sometimes people retire and sometimes their kids don't want the business and sometimes it's just time to go. So yeah, the openings and closings, it's a popular column because it's kind of a snapshot look at, okay, here's where we are today. Here's what's going on. Here's what happened this month.
What should we be excited about?
Well, there's a couple things really. And that's a loaded question because the list is 20 or 25 long. There's a place that opened last week inside the Missouri History Museum. Remember the old Bixby's, with that big on the
fried
second
chicken
floor. No, there
wasn't Bixby's fried chicken. I'm sorry, I thought it was.
I don't think so. Bixby's was on the top level of the History Museum. The beautiful curved glass overlooking. You can see Art Hill. In the wintertime. Oh. Well, Bixby's was there for a while. There's another restaurant. Anyway, there's a restaurant, a French-inspired restaurant there now called the Key Bistro, and it's really good. And the owner is an established restaurant guy. His father is Pierre Chambrin, and his father's a French master chef who cooked at the St. Louis Club forever. There aren't many master chefs around, and this guy was here for one. Not too many people knew about him because it was a private club, but his son knows his stuff. This Key Bistro is really a very cool place. It's just open for lunch, really.
Wow.
And I think they're going to kick brunch off because that's what Bixby's was kind of known for, Sunday brunch. So French dips, French onion soups, French inspired things, great quiche. They've got a killer lobster bisque that takes them days to make because of the stock that they have to make from whole lobsters. And anyway, it was always a nice, a nice room, and it is again. And it had kind of, people kind of forgotten about it, but it's called the Key Bistro and it's open when the museum's open. So that's one. The other one, speaking of fried chicken, Sunday Best just opened, and that's the former Juniper in the Central West End. And Juniper was there for, gosh, I don't know, a decade maybe. I don't remember the timeline on that, but it was a great restaurant. Their specialty was fried chicken. Most people that went in there ordered fried chicken. And at the end of the day, the chef owner said, we're selling 80% fried chicken and we're putting a lot of effort and time into these other 20% of the items. Why don't we just simplify and be a fried chicken house, which is what they've done. The chicken is arguably the best in town. It's now, I forget how many days he's open, but certainly, again, people came out of the pandemic. They were only open 3 days a week, 4 days a week. I'm pretty sure that place is going to be open, most days or most nights. And, fried chicken dinners, chicken thigh, fried chicken thigh sandwiches, some cool side dishes. that's about it. You don't, if that's your specialty and that's what you're known for, don't complicate it. You don't have to get too crazy. And that's, after years in business, John Perkins, the owner, went, why didn't I think of this sooner? It's so much easier.
Yeah, the chicken thigh doesn't get enough love, man. That I'm telling you,
it's the best.
It is the best part of the chicken for sure. George Mahey, the new edition of St. Louis Mag, stlmag.com. You can go there. Openings and closings this month. Check it out. There is a huge list all over the St. Louis area, even into the Illinois side. So go check that out.
And we get into coming soons, and the coming soons are going all the way into
I see High Points. High Points got one coming now, and in Illinois coming later again. They're just expanding all over.
Going crazy.
George Mahey, thanks for coming in.
Thank you.
Dining editor for St. Louis Magazine, stlmag.com. Check out the new edition. We are going to give you the birds with John Rooney when we come back on KMOX.
Hey guys, Dave from the Dave Glover Show, 1 p.m. to 5 p.m. on KMOX. This promo is going to sound like everyone else's promo, but everyone else's promo is a lie. They're just copying off of us. We are the original show about nothing. We're the original show about everything. We're just a bunch of smart people acting stupid and stupid people acting smart. And when you put it all together, it's a pretty good mix. We are 23 years in, and we are STLAF. That's the DGS, 1 to 5 p.m. KMOX.
Hey friends, Matzo Matt here for Brew Pub Lots of Matzo Pizza. Does it seem like you're camping in the forest of complaints when it comes to your kids and dinner time? Phrases like, what even is that? And
we're having that again?
Or
seriously?
Are getting tossed around like a frisbee at the beach. I know you want to break free from the barrage of bemoaning, so toss in a Brew Pub Lots of Matzo Pizza for dinner tonight. That thin crust, delicious sauce, and mountain of mozzarella will have the kids singing your praises at dinner time. Snag a Brew Pub Lots of Matzo Pizza today from the freezer section in your local grocery store.
Hi, I'm Jim Brennan, president of McKelvey Homes. Founded in 1898, McKelvey Homes is celebrating 125 years with our inventory home sale. Get $12,500 off of all our market homes. Move in quick, lock in your interest rate, and get all the popular features and colors selected by design professionals. And for every home sold, McKelvey Homes will donate $1,898 to Dravet Syndrome Foundation. Visit McKelveyHomes.com.
Innovation Refunds does not provide tax or legal advice. We work with an independent network of tax professionals and will share information with them to evaluate and process your claims. Terms and conditions apply. Ty is a paid spokesman.
I'm Ty Burrell, actor and small business owner. You can trust Innovation Refunds with your small business's ERC claim because of their SOC 2 Type 1 security compliance. And if you're a tech person, you know that's a big deal. I'm not a tech person, but I did look it up. Without this certification, how can you be sure a company can protect your information? It's not like here on the radio, where all you need to be secure is a sensor button. Check it out. So now you won't know my date of birth is or that my social security number is the password to my bank account is Ty's Cool Password 1. Uh-oh. The button's broken. Luckily, Innovation Refunds is more reliable. Don't wait. Go to innovationrefunds.com. That's innovationrefunds.com or call 1-843-REFUNDS to get started. Oh, a notification from my bank. Wait, I didn't buy a boat.
At 11:30, sunny, 78 degrees downtown at the Arch. Secretary of State Antony Blinken has arrived in Kyiv on an unannounced visit hours after Russia launched its first missile attack in a week against the Ukrainian capital.
Blinken's trip aims to assess Ukraine's 3-month-old counter-offensive and signal continued U.S. support for Kyiv's efforts to drive out the Kremlin's forces after 19 months of war. Some of Ukraine's Western allies have expressed concerns over the pace of the counter-offensive's progress. Washington officials say possible alternative export routes for Ukrainian grain will also be discussed following Russia's exit from the Black Sea Grain Initiative and its frequent bombardment of Ukraine port facilities. I'm Charles de Ledesma.
A heat wave blanketing much of the country, creating dangerous conditions. A lot of schools and businesses shutting down. In Detroit, Jamia Bray had to scramble schedules to pick up her kids after their schools closed early for the day.
Knowing that they don't have any AC, from what I heard, it's just terrible to have the kids in those kind of conditions.
A suspected prowler arrested and charged in St. Louis County. The prosecuting attorney's office says North County Police cooperative officers were tipped off about 33-year-old Jasper Williams of Uplands Park getting into a woman's home while she was away. There's a two-vehicle crash on 270 South at 55 North, Lee May Ferry, and MoDOT says all the lanes are closed. 270 South to 55 North, Lee May Ferry. Also 70 West, the exit to Shreve is closed because of a disabled vehicle. Some debris on 370 West at St. Louis Mills. The right lane is closed. Weather sponsored by Jerry Kelly Heating and Air Conditioning. For today, breezy, not as hot. Lower humidity with a high of 84. Tonight's low 64. For tomorrow through Sunday, high of 80 to 84. Right now it's 78 downtown at the Arch. I'm Michael Calhoun, KMOX News.
It's time for a $98 AC tune-up.
The Martins came over, we were having spaghetti when we suddenly noticed that we started getting sweaty. So we grabbed the keys and we ate it in the van. That's what my friend said, call Jerry Kelly, man, JerryKelly.com. Give him a call even though it's late, JerryKelly.com.
Spark St. Louis is the newest collaborative co-working office space located in the PwC Pennant Building at Ballpark Village. Spark supports local entrepreneurs and corporate professionals and features over 80 private offices, day pass options, monthly networking events, conference room, and special event amenities, while offering an innovative approach to city life where you can live, work, and watch the Cardinals play all within the neighborhood at Ballpark Village. Schedule your tour today by visiting Spark St. Louis online at spark-stl.com.
Broadcasting from the Underlying Tree Lawyers, GetJim.com studios.
KMOX.
Hi, I'm Paul Goldschmidt. Hi, I'm Miles Michaelis. I'm Adam Wainwright, and you're listening to the voice of the Cardinals, KMOX.
Get ready for the Cards and Braves tonight. Ameren Total Access 525. First pitch 620.
KMOX is Cardinals Radio.
Now, the John Rooney Conversation on KMOX. Sponsored by Missouri Farm Bureau Insurance. We are Missouri Farm Bureau Insurance. And if you're a Missourian, we're for you.
There's a drive, and that's hit deep to right field. And it is a ball that's gone over the wall, a home run. He's going to make sure that didn't hit off the bricks and come bouncing back. But a line shot out of here for Nolan Gorman. And a 2-home run game for him. 10-6 Cardinals.
Cardinals with a win over the Braves last night, and you heard it right here on KMOX, the home of your St. Louis Cardinals, and it is 11:30. It is Wednesday morning. Brad Young is in for Amy Marks Coors. I'm Chris Ranji, and because it's 11:30 on a Wednesday, we talk now with John Rooney, radio voice of the Redbirds. What's going on, John?
Well, it's 12:34 here.
Oh, that's right, because you're on the road. Don't you just keep Central Time?
I do on my phone. I always keep Central Time on the phone.
Yeah, you could be like Kramer. Wasn't it Kramer? He decided that he was going to be, was it an hour ahead at all times?
Yes.
Yeah, You should do that.
Well, our broadcast time is Central, so I always keep the phone on Central Time.
Okay, that's perfect. Yeah, you know what? That is difficult when you're on the road and you're talking to the audience that's a time zone or two over. You got to keep that straight. That's tough.
Well, we're trying to keep a lot of things straight, Chris, and that's one we don't need to foul up too much.
I think that's the toughest one.
It might be.
So Nolan Gorman, a couple of home runs, and one thing that you do here in the final month of the season, if you're the Cardinals, is you're getting an extra look at younger players and trying to figure out what your roster is going to look like in 2024 and which of these players is going to play a big part in that. It's hard to figure that Nolan Gorman is going to be anything other than a huge part of the Cardinals next year.
No, I would think so. And I also think that what Tyler O'Neill is able to do, let's keep him in the lineup and see what he can do down the stretch here. Now, he did a belly flop on a stolen base last night. It was almost like they had mud around second base instead of dirt. When he went in for the head first slide, he just stopped. And fortunately, they didn't throw, so he got the stolen base out of it. But I'd like to see him play down the stretch here at least 5 days a week with his tremendous power. He launched one last night. They're still looking for it. No, these young guys, I always thought that it's easier to win when you don't have to, when you're out of it. And last night was an example of guys that are playing for next year. I think that pressure is still there, Chris, that they're not playing for a playoff spot, but they are playing for their futures, especially these young guys. And Jordan Walker continues to get better and better. And Gorman is starting to get his timing back after being on the injured list. O'Neill is getting his timing back. Paul Goldschmidt had a good game last night. And defensively, I like that outfield with O'Neill in left, Edman in center, and Nootbaar in right field. My goodness, they just didn't let anything get down, really.
Yeah, you mentioned Jordan Walker, whose numbers, the overall numbers, have been improving. The average is up to 279. OBP, you'd still like to see it a little bit higher. It's at 345, but he's slugging. He's got the third best slug in the lineup at the moment, better than what Paul Goldschmidt is doing. The only one who's been better is Gorman, the guy we're talking about, and Nolan Arenado. They're allowed, or they've been allowed here, to get comfortable with this team and to be in the lineup every day. That has to pay off big for them going into 2024.
Oh, I think so. I think trying to slow the game down, Chris, that's the thing right now for the young guys. For Mason Wynn, put him in that mix. Slow the game down just enough where it comes to you and you're not jumping at the game. Being quieter in the batter's box, getting some confidence. That's what it all comes down to. And it's not that these guys don't work hard. That's the one constant I've seen. Even though they've had the bad year, they've been in last place in the division. They haven't skipped a day, though, when it comes to putting in their work and trying to prepare and get ready to compete. And there have been many times where the team has come up short in the bullpen. That's one of the issues right now with JoJo Romero going on the injured list. That bullpen's a little thin out there, and we're going up against two pitchers in Strider and Fried the next 2 days that it's going to be tough to score runs, but the preparation and the effort and the work that goes into it, it's still 100% to try to go out and win that day.
John, Brad Young here, and you mentioned JoJo Romero. I was at Friday night's game. I watched the game, and I saw JoJo Romero injuring his knee while covering first base on Friday night. The question is, with Ryan Helsley out, and now JoJo Romero's out, and the bullpen has blown 26 saves already this season, what do you see the Cardinals doing for a closer between now and the time that Ryan Helsley comes back on whatever basis he's going to come back on?
Well, Brad, can you pitch? They're trying to mix and match and do what they can to get through games right now. And last night you saw a little bit of that example where they brought Giovanni Gallegos in and he just didn't have his slider. And Ozuna sat on a fastball and killed it. Then a base on balls. He got help from their catcher, Sean Murphy, reaching for an outside pitch. But then Palante came in, and I feel for Andre Palante. He has really good stuff, but he's good for a run, it seems like, when he goes out there. And I'd like to see him kick it into high gear and have a really good finish and set things up for next year. But he has a rough go of it. And Helsley was able to pitch last night, but right now I'm not sure that you can go back-to-back days with him. So they're trying to be careful with him to make sure that he finishes a healthy month of September and goes into 2024 feeling good, and he can be there for the long haul. So it's a mix and match right now. Verhagen comes in the other night, gives up a hit by pitch and a home run, but there are times where he's had a lot of scoreless outings, but that wasn't one of them, and it ended up costing the Cardinals the ball game in the ninth. Casey Lawrence has been a reasonable pitcher for middle innings when the Cardinals have had to reach back for some extra innings, but we haven't seen him late in games very much. And the same for Andrew Suarez from the left side out of the bullpen. John King's done a really nice job since coming over from Texas, and they used him to get the last out of the eighth inning last night, and that was against Matt Olson. That was a tough out, and he got it. So they're trying to line some things up in the pen, but right now it's a depleted bullpen.
Yeah, and you were last night during the broadcast. I mean, there's frustration even on the part of the broadcasters watching the game, and him. He was getting to a lot of full counts. He was missing spots, and then he'd have to throw a meatball. And he is under contract for next year, and they have an option for the following year for him. How does he factor into the bullpen if he's under contract? Are they just going to hope that he rebounds in 2024?
Well, I think they're counting on him to rebound, as Gallegos has that experience in the ninth inning, and a seventh, eighth, and ninth inning pitcher so important right now when it's tough to get your starter past 5 or 6 anymore. And they're hoping that he finds that he gets that slider. And there are nights he has that, Chris.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that's the frustrating thing for fans for sure, but it's frustrating for him that he comes out of the bullpen. He doesn't have that wipeout slider, and then they eliminate that pitch and sit on the fastball like Ozuna did last night. And that's what happens. But when he has that slider working, they don't have very much success against Giovanni Gallegos. And he definitely takes that to heart. But he has to be one of those guys with that valuable experience that you're hoping does the right prep during the offseason, gets things right, gets to where he can come in and be a consistent contributor out of the bullpen, because they need veteran experience like that. And it will be interesting to see the pieces they add to that bullpen as we get to the offseason. I think this offseason is going to be one of the most interesting in many, many, many years for the Cardinals. Maybe going back to the days when Whitey Herzog made all of those deals to shape the team that eventually won in 1982. I think this is probably that important and will be that interesting.
You're right. It'll be interesting to see just how aggressive they get, knowing they're going to have to. Because, I mean, if you're looking around the division, the Reds are getting better. The Cubs right now are a playoff team if the season comes to an end today, and they will figure to get better in an off season. It'll be interesting to see just exactly what the Cardinals do.
Yeah, this is very strange territory, Chris, because the Cardinals have been the team everyone looked up to and chased and tried to follow when it came to making deals and setting up the team in the offseason. And now it's the Cardinals looking up at the others. And I don't think the Pirates are that much better than the Cardinals at this point. But right now the standings tell you they are. And then you have the Reds and the Cubs and the Brewers up there. And it will be interesting to see what happens with the Brewers, what happens with their manager. Will he be a manager next year, Craig Counsell, or will he be elsewhere, or will he take some time off? That will be decided too. But right now we're concerned about the Cardinals and trying to shape up the starting pitching, the bullpen, take a look at what they want to do with their bench. And it'll be nice to have a Brendan Donovan back, that's for sure. But you just don't know how much you could use him with that arm surgery, whether you can play him that much in the outfield, where he was playing here, there, and everywhere. He may be confined to just a couple of positions, but that bat is important to have in the lineup.
Dakota Hudson will start tonight, and really if you go back to the beginning of August, there's really like just one start in there where the results weren't great. It was okay. 5 2/3 and 5 runs against the Phillies, but otherwise his starts have been, if anything, he has kept them in ball games. He's been pretty good since the beginning of August. Do you think he factors into what they do next year? Because he'll be arbitration eligible. I don't think he could become a free agent until after next year. Will he factor?
I think he will, Chris. And the reason I say that, he understood what happened in Philadelphia, how he went away from his game, and that ballpark can do it to you, and that lineup can do it to you in that ballpark in Philadelphia. So I think he understood that, came back with a good start against the Pirates. And the Pirates have some good pieces in their lineup. When you can throw Reynolds out there and Ke'Bryan Hayes, and certainly McCutchen is a capable big league hitter who's still looking for home run 300. But they have some guys that can hurt you and have hurt the Cardinals during the season. And he was able to go ahead and follow that Philadelphia start with a good start. The next one, San Diego had a good lineup. He knows the approach he wants to take, and the ball jumps in this park. Yet it seems like the dimensions are big enough that if you make your pitch, then you stand a chance of getting it out, even though Tommy Edman was penned up against the wall for one of those. And they made a great play. Harris made a catch on Newbar's ball that was headed over the wall last night. We had a very entertaining and a very thrilling game last night, and I'm happy that it turned out to be 10-6. But tonight, Hudson has to pitch his game because he can't think about going up against Strider, who has 16 wins and 245 strikeouts to lead Major League Baseball. Dakota has to think about, I'm going after Acuna, then Albies, and the rest of the lineup.
Well, John, I want you to know that I'm going to be warming up my arm this week,
Good.
just in preparation in case Mozeliak gives me a call. I want to be ready to go.
Well, I want you to run your sprints. You need to run from foul line to foul line because with that pitch clock, it takes up a lot more energy, and you need to have that stability to at least stay out there for one pitch.
Yeah.
Yep. Well, I'll make sure the paramedics are on standby.
They will be. Trust me.
Just give us a couple innings. That's enough.
I'm talking about one pitch.
Yeah, well, one pitch. Yeah, there you go. John Rooney, the 5:25 pregame show, Central Time. 6:20 first pitch, Central Time. It's all here on KMOX. Thanks for your time again today. Go call a winner.
All right, guys. We'll talk to you next week, and look forward to the matchup tonight of Dakota Hudson and Strider.
Spencer Strider, who is a Cy Young candidate. Some people think he is the favorite. John Rooney will have the call tonight. The Cardinals report today brought to you by Renner Garage Door. RENNER, forward and back, family owned and top rated. RennerDoorSTL.com. Hey, maybe you heard about the nightmare that happened in the desert over the weekend, Brad Young. You ever heard of Burning Man?
Oh, yeah. I've been following this.
Oh.
Boy, I can't wait to talk about Burning Man.
Oh, this is going to be great. It's just unbelievable. One of my close friends was stuck there. We'll tell you about it when we come back on KMOX.
Insurance, and we're here for all of life's wins. Like when you get a new car, or new boat, or new driver, or when your son moves out, but your mom moves in, or you find out you're expecting again, or when one rental property turns into 2, then 20, or you realize they're all in Tornado Alley. Life is full of life events, so call your Missouri Farm Bureau insurance agent or visit MOFBinsurance.com to find an agent near you, and we'll make sure you have the right coverage for each of life's wins.
We are Missouri Farm Bureau Insurance, and we're for the people of Missouri, in good times and in bad. We're for Missouri families and Missouri communities. We're for giving back to those communities and lifting people up. And when Missouri weather rips through our state, we're for helping put back the pieces. We're for brighter days and new tomorrows. We are Missouri Farm Bureau Insurance. And if you live in Missouri, we're for you.
You wouldn't trust a butcher to babysit your pet pig. You wouldn't trust a lumberjack to repair your antiques. Or a professional wrestler to be your massage therapist. So why would you trust anyone but AMCO to fix your car? For over 50 years, we've been the trusted experts in transmission repair.
AMCO offers easy payment plan options for most any credit situation, so you can fix it fast and pay it off slow at AMCO.
AAMCO.
Start your Amazon business.
Hey everyone, Ryan and Karen Pottinger here.
Because of the wholesale formula, last year we ran our business while we traveled to and lived in 4 different countries.
In 2020, Americans made $50 billion selling on Amazon. Join America's Amazon expert, Dylan Frost, where anyone can learn how to start an Amazon business for only $49.99 guaranteed or your money back. Attend the Wholesale Formula 2-hour seminar Saturday, September 30th, 11 a.m. at the Aviator Hotel, Lindbergh Boulevard, St. Louis, Missouri. Register at thewholesaleformula.com.
Friday, September 8th. Come out to Scrubbles Car Wash in St. Peters, Missouri. When the Shift Disturbers, Chris Ronji and Amy Markscourse broadcast live from 10 till 1 p.m. all month long. Scrubbles is offering a $1 promotion on their basic Scrubbies package. That includes a basic wash, dry, and bug duster. All that for only $1. Come out and get a car wash at Scrubbles Car Wash at 297 Salt Lick Road, St. Peters, Missouri. Come see why Scrubbles Car Wash is batting cleanup for St. Louis.
Celebrate the month of September with Zero Res and get 3 rooms of carpet clean starting at just $129 and take $50 off your air duct cleaning. Call for the DGS special 314-474-2020 or book online at ZeroResSTL.com.
Luke Combs here, and I have an exclusive opportunity for you to win $500,000 with the Living Lucky with Luke Combs lottery experience. Join me in Nashville for a private concert at the iconic Ryman Auditorium. One lucky winner will win $500,000 at the end of the show. Y'all feeling lucky? Enter today.
Enter your Living Lucky with Luke Combs Scratchers tickets at MoLottery.com for a chance to win a private concert experience and a chance at $500,000. Play it forward with the Missouri Lottery and play responsibly.
How are balloons made? Where did the dinosaurs go? Why is the sky blue?
Your kids asked you the tough questions because they trusted you. So how about another question for you? Do you have a trusted financial professional to go to for answers on your retirement? Questions like, how much do I really need to retire? When should I take my Social Security benefits? Could my taxes go up when I stop working? We'll leave those tough kid questions to you, but for your retirement questions, Heisey Advisory Group is the team to ask. Call them today at 314-328-4400. We all have important questions. Get your retirement questions answered with help from Heisey Advisory Group. Call now at 314-328-4400. That's 314-328-4400.
Investment advisory products and services made available through Pine Ridge Advisors, LLC, an SEC-registered investment advisor. Security products and services made available through AE Financial Services, LLC, member FINRA and SIPC. AEFS and Pine Ridge Advisors, LLC are not affiliated.
So you're thinking, great boat, 60 grand, but hey, we can have fun on the water. She's thinking, what, 3, maybe 4 months a year if we're lucky? You're thinking tow ropes and wakeboards. She's thinking granite countertops and undermount sinks. You're back to thinking about summers, but she's thinking about all year, every day, rain or shine. And she's also thinking 3 days and about half the cost. That's right, 3 days and half the cost. Your kitchen or bath can have a completely new look in just 3 days or less. Guaranteed. Top quality products and craftsmanship, 100% satisfaction guaranteed. And you and your family will enjoy it all year, day in and day out, with no tow ropes needed. Now, what are you thinking? Find out more about how your kitchen or bath can be the kitchen or bath of your dreams in just 3 days. Just visit 3daykitchen.com. That's 3daykitchen.com.
3-Day Kitchen and Bath.
Men suffering from ED or PE, you'll see instant results on your first visit at Paramount Men's Medical Center. For a limited time, your initial consultation and first treatment are totally free. You'll even get a gift that enhances your performance in the bedroom. Call now, 314-720-8081.
I'm Jim Brennan. McKelvey Homes is celebrating 125 years with our inventory home sale. And for every home sold, McKelvey Homes will donate $1,898 to Dravet Syndrome Foundation. Visit McKelveyhomes.com.
Hi, this is Ken Newbold for Newbold Toyota and Newbold BMW, a family-owned dealership group that has been around for 50 years as a Toyota dealer and 25 years in O'Fallon, Illinois. So come see us. That's Newbold Toyota in O'Fallon or newboldtoyota.com. You'll be sold on Newbold.
You know that new sound you're looking for? Well, listen to this.
The Chris and Amy Show on KMOX.
I imagine that Brad Young had himself a real good time at Burning Man in the desert back in the, I don't know, what's it, Black Rock City? That's what it's called, right?
Sure.
So,
yeah, and I'm sure at a clothing optional event, people are looking for me to be there. Yeah. I don't think so.
No, I don't think it's clothing optional. I think it's you're mostly not wearing any clothes except for the fur coat you have on.
Okay.
And
that's an image that no one wants to picture, Chris. So no, I was not invited to Burning Man.
I bet that most people, I shouldn't say most. I've known about Burning Man for a long time. One of my very close friends goes to it every year. We were roommates for a while too. And it's, he fit perfectly what Burning Man is all about. He's weird, but he was there and got stranded with the 70,000 other people who were stranded because of a surprise monsoon that came in and flooded the area. And it was muddy and they couldn't leave. They were telling people to ration their food and water because no outside help was coming. Yeah, he finally got home. I think yesterday. No, I'm sorry. Yesterday he was in Sacramento. He had to get his way to Sacramento and then was still trying to get back to the Midwest. So he's having a very difficult. I cannot imagine. And I don't. Here's the thing. The idea of a music festival, I like it. But I've hated music festivals for the most part because it always seems to rain right before and it's muddy. And I don't like being in that. This is that, but about 1,000,000 times worse. I cannot imagine.
You can't really call this a music festival.
It's
because
not, right.
It's so much more than that. And I don't know, given some of the decadent behavior there, I'll tell you the first thing that came to my mind was Sodom and Gomorrah meets Noah's Ark.
Yes.
All right, because of the rain coming down, it just seemed rather poetic.
You don't even want to go to the debauchery in Nashville. I can't imagine you would like Burning Man.
No, not on my bucket list.
All right, I want to get Brad to Burning Man. We're doing it next year. You and me, Brad Young, we're going to Burning Man.
Count on it.
It's going to be great. All right, we'll recap what you missed on the show when we come back. It's Brad Young and Chris Ranji on KMOX.
You had a solid retirement dream. Sell your home in a few years, bank the equity, downsize, and travel. But inflation and recession has you wondering if all your hard-earned equity will still be there. What if you could recession-proof your equity right now? You can with Truehold. Truehold will buy your home for its best current value before a recession can erode it. You get to bank all the cash now and live in your home for as long as you want. And Truehold covers all property taxes, insurance, repairs, and maintenance. And since Truehold pays your home's current value in cash now, it's yours to do whatever you'd like. Don't wait for inflation, recession, and interest rates to erode your home's value. Visit Truehold.com and discover how much Truehold will buy your home for today, based on its best current value, not what's coming. Call 1-855-300-9993 or visit Truehold.com. The smarter, faster way to cash out on your home's value without having to move. That's Truehold.com.
Put on your blue suede shoes and join Stages St. Louis for the grand finale of their 2023 season. It's $1 Million Quartet, featuring the music of Elvis Presley, Johnny Cash, Jerry Lee Lewis, and Carl Perkins. Don't miss the legendary story of the recording session that changed rock and roll history. $1 Million Quartet plays September 8th through October 8th in the Ross Family Theater at the Kirkwood Performing Arts Center. Purchase tickets today at stagesstlewis.org or call 314-821-2407.
For a limited time, First Community is offering an 18-month certificate of deposit that pays 5% annual percentage yield and a 12-month certificate that pays 4.25% annual percentage yield. Unlike some high-risk investments, CDs are fully insured to keep your savings safe, and a return on your investment is guaranteed. Requires a $500 minimum deposit to open. Call 1-800-767-8880 for terms and conditions. Federally insured up to $250,000 by NCUA.
KMOX, KECK HD2, K254CR St. Louis.
The legendary voice of St. Louis, KMOX. Always live on the free Odyssey app.
Yes, with inflation, interest rate increases, and a possible recession looming, we are no doubt facing uncertain times in the housing market. But as a realtor with over 20 years of experience, I can tell you, if you're thinking of selling your home, now more than ever, you need a realtor to help you through these times while saving you money. Hi, I'm Christina Straight, owner of Straight Realty, and we offer all of this for only 4%. Why pay more than 4%? 314-441-4444.
Straight Realty is a licensed broker in the state of Missouri.
It's football season at Circa Resort and Casino in Las Vegas, featuring the best pool in history. Stadium Square, 3 levels, 6 pools, and a 143-foot diagonal screen. Stadium Swim is America's favorite place to watch football. Touchdown! Unbelievable! Stadium Swim, located at Circa Resort and Casino. Book today at CircaLasVegas.com. That's CircaLasVegas.com.
Mid-America's most trusted source for news. KMOX.
At 12 noon, the news is sponsored by Michael's Flooring Outlet, the flooring experts, michaelsflooringoutlet.com. It's a sunny sky, 79 degrees at the moment, downtown at the Arch. Our top story this hour, 3 teens were killed when their car crashed into a home in University City early this morning. All were 15. Highway Patrol Corporal Dallas Thompson explains what they believe happened.
Preliminary investigations have shown that the vehicle was traveling eastbound on Groby at a fairly high rate of speed. It failed to negotiate a sharp curve to the left, causing it to travel off the right side of the roadway, across a yard, and into the side of the house.
The home was vacant, so nobody was inside. He says investigators are still trying to figure out why the teens were driving without driver's licenses and why they were on the road so early. Roadblocks to redeveloping the old Chesterfield Mall site seemed to vanish last night as the city council voted unanimously to have the old mall demolished and replaced with apartments, homes, and businesses. Chesterfield Mayor Bob Nation.
There was a resident group that was concerned about too dense of a residential component. I think those concerns were alleviated. There were, modifications made that reduce the amount of residential.
A 46% pay raise, a 32-hour week with 40 hours of pay, a restoration of traditional pensions, the demands that a more combative United Auto Workers Union has passed on to General Motors, Stellantis, and Ford are edging it closer to a strike when its contract ends on September 14th. Moderna claims its COVID-19 vaccine is likely effective against a highly mutated new subvariant. CBS's Cammie McCormick.
The new subvariant is raising fears of a resurgence in infections, but Moderna claims its shot provided a more than 8% increase in protection. It's yet to be approved by the FDA, but that's expected later this month or in early October.
And CBS's Jim Krasula reports on troubling cancer news.
The number of people younger than 50 being diagnosed with cancer has risen 80% worldwide in 3 decades. Cancer deaths of people under 50 increased by nearly 30%, according to the largest study of its kind ever. More than 1 million people under 50 are now dying of cancer worldwide annually.
Medical experts say poor diets, alcohol, and tobacco use are likely among factors in the cancer surge. The KMOX Business Desk, people are having trouble caring at work.
If you're finding yourself less motivated at work these days, you're not alone. A new ADP Research Institute survey finds motivation among working Americans is waning this year, with a majority simply not highly engaged with their jobs. And that's not good news for employers. The lower the motivation of employees, the lower their productivity. Overall, about 4 in 10 workers are highly productive. Erica Herskowitz, Bloomberg Radio.
Down from Stiefels, down 347 points to 34,294. Got a stalled vehicle 440 east to 270 in the right lane, and a 2-vehicle crash on 270 south to 55 north at Lee May Ferry. So keep a watch out there. 270 south to 55 north at Lee May Ferry.
The afternoon breezy and continuing to turn less humid with a mix of sun and some clouds. Temperatures getting up to 84, then clearing back down to the low to mid 60s tonight. Beautiful tomorrow, Friday, Saturday, Sunday. Highs in the low to mid 80s. Real feels right where the temperature is with that sunshine plenty. I'm AccuWeather meteorologist Dean DeVore and the voice of St. Louis, KMOX.
Sponsored by the Penn Mutual Life Insurance Company. Are you considering life insurance? Penn Mutual's accelerated client experience makes applying for life insurance fast and easy. Ask your independent advisor or go to pennmutual.com/STL. Right now, sun 78, Florissant 77, St. Peter's 79, downtown at the Arch. I'm Michael Calhoun, KMOX News.
Time to rewind. It's the Chris and Amy Rewind Recap.
Brad Young filling in for Amy Mark's course today. I'm Chris Ranji on KMOX till 1 o'clock, and we've got the Dave Glover Show, which is happening. I'll hang out with them for an hour, as we always do during the 1 o'clock fun that we have every day. We've got Bob Dylan tickets to give away. We will do so this hour. Be listening for your chance to win tickets to see Bob Dylan at Stiefel on October 4th. We started off the show talking about the Chesterfield development, and it has cleared a hurdle where the board has approved, or the council has approved, their plans for demolition of the old Chesterfield Mall, but there is still other hurdles for them to get that development done, Brad.
Oh, there are hurdles. In fact, the hurdles are numerous. The hurdles include, what's the status of the Dillard's lawsuit? Should TIF money be used to redevelop places that really aren't blighted? Lots of issues. How do we pay for the additional kids at school that will be generated by all of these new additions in terms of apartments and condominiums? Yeah, there are a lot of issues, and this is far from resolved.
But you and I are in agreement on this. For the generally speaking, we are both in favor of development. We are both in favor of the region moving forward, which all of us can agree that as a region, we need to make some progress. One of those things is development. One of those things is building stuff. And there probably just isn't enough being built in St. Louis. And that's a spot right now that is a great location, but it is completely unused.
True. And listen, I moved to St. Louis to go to law school in the 80s. And Chesterfield Mall was the place to go in the 80s and 90s.
Oh, yeah.
And to see that kind of devolve into basically glorified pickleball courts is really sad to see in such a place to go like Chesterfield. It's a very good place to go. And so I'm all for the development. I'm always concerned about the rush to development. For example, in those 2 strip malls or outdoor malls, the Chesterfield City Council couldn't decide on which one to sponsor, so they went with both. And I'm not sure that's the best decision to say all development is always good all the time. There needs to be some thought put into it. And applied to Chesterfield Mall, I'd like to see some more of the details.
Legally speaking, how soon will it be before we can get, and maybe there's no way to know this answer, but before we can get a resolution on if there are more lawsuits that come in as a result of this, if there's more opposition, how long will it take to clear those?
Well, as I mentioned earlier, most lawsuits can be resolved with money.
Yeah.
So unfortunately, I'm not being facetious. I'm being transparent. So at some point, if those lawsuits might be successful in blocking this from moving forward, it's going to take money to resolve those. Now, given the size and scope of this proposed development, I don't think some additional money here would be a problem. When you look at the time frame, that there wouldn't be any actual construction starting for the better part of a year and a half, I think that gives all parties the opportunity to resolve the litigation, address the tax base issues for schools and infrastructure, and to resolve any lingering issues with regard to eminent domain. A year and a half should be enough time to work those out.
We discussed the Missouri Democrats' plan to open next year's presidential preference primary to 17-year-olds. The voting age, as you know, is 18. This is not unprecedented. There is a town in Maryland that had allowed in municipal elections 16 and 17-year-olds to vote in those elections, and that goes back about 10 years. So this has happened in the country before. And while, Brad, there is a push on the part of some people to raise the voting age, it's 18 now, there are some people in Congress who think it should be 21. There are others who think it should go the other direction and maybe all the way down to 16.
That's a good point. And I've been having some conversations with some folks on through through texting. If folks want to text in, you can text us now at 314-436-7900. And I've been having some conversations with several listeners on this very issue. And one of the points that I made in bringing together the conversation on the text line was, even if you lower it to 17, younger people historically have the lowest participation rate when it comes to voting. Because younger folks just don't care. Now, you could make the argument, well, maybe if we lowered it to 17,
then they would
that might care. But when it was set at 18, the 18-year-olds didn't care. So there's really no evidence to show that 17-year-olds would care any more than the 18-year-olds do. So at this point, it seems to be a lot of a kerfuffle over nothing. If we lower it to 17, and the 17-year-olds don't care to vote anyway.
I don't think there's much of an appetite nationally right now to lower a voting age. I really don't think there's an appetite to raise it either, because there is one big absolute trump card in the raise the voting age conversation. And that trump card is, well, if you can go to battle for your country, there is no way in hell you shouldn't be allowed to vote. And I don't think there is no good argument against that.
That's true. But then the ancillary argument to that, Chris, is if you can go to war and fight for your country at 18, but you can't buy a beer.
And I agree with you on that. It's also a separate conversation. But
it is.
If you're allowed to pick up a rifle and fight for your country, to me, there's not a good argument against that. Now, the argument against a 16 and 17-year-old voting, and there are a couple of them. One of them we touched on earlier, and that is, are you there enough to vote? Should you be able to make decisions? And I think you can make that argument for older people. There are some people who are past the age of 80 who are cognitively not there. We talk about it with some members of Congress and some people in the White House. We talk about that all the time.
You beat me to it.
If they're allowed to vote and we're not taking away their vote, then how is that different than somebody who's 16? The other argument would be, and I've heard this before, that people who are 16 and 17, they don't have, quote, skin in the game, right? They're not out in the workforce. They're not paying taxes, but actually a lot of them are. If you're 16, you're allowed to work. I worked at 16. I paid taxes, granted, not as much as somebody who has a full-time job. But I would also argue, and I'd like to know what you think about this, the dangers that young people face now. And one thing I'm thinking of is being in danger at school. And school shootings are a huge problem in this country. That's a thing. They do active shooter drills. I never one time did an active shooter drill when I was 16.
No.
So legislation affects them too. You're affected if you're 16, and you can work and you can do these other things. I don't know if it's a good enough argument to say, well, they don't have skin in the game. I don't think that flies. I also don't think there's enough appetite to move it that direction either.
Well, and that's the key, Chris, because as you know, unless there is some sort of momentum to get something done legislatively, it just can't happen.
Yeah.
And so you'd have to have that burning momentum to change that voting age, either on a statewide basis or a nationwide basis. And there's just no real push for that. Absent that type of a push, it's simply not going to happen, and the status quo will remain.
Which it wasn't in the late 60s either. There was some appetite for it, but that momentum gathered pretty quickly, and by 71, that amendment was passed. So I don't know, maybe something happens in that direction. I think it's a much easier argument to make on a national level that if you can serve in the military, you should be able to vote. That's a winner. I'm not sure these other ones are yet, and maybe someday they will.
Exactly. And it took the Vietnam War to make that push in the 60s.
We also discussed the Alex Murdaugh case, and this guy is pushing for a new trial because a court clerk, he alleges, based on court filings, sort of influenced the jury. And he was convicted of murdering his wife and his son about 6 months ago. And Brad, it looks like he's got a pretty good case here, huh?
Well, based on what we've seen so far, Chris, if he can demonstrate actual, or if his defense team can demonstrate actual jury tampering by that county court clerk, then I think it's a foregone conclusion that he's going to get a new trial. Even if he gets a new trial, of course, there's two mitigating factors on that. First of all, the second jury gets to hear the exact same evidence that the first jury heard and will most likely reach the same conclusion. And secondly, even if you look at the worst case scenario where Alec Murdaugh walks after a second jury trial, at this point, he's only going to be walking within his cell or down to the showers at prison because of the other financial misdealings that he's preparing to plead guilty to. He's not going to see daylight anytime soon.
Yeah, and that's where I am on it. Clearly, this dude's not a good dude. He most likely killed his family members. He committed these other crimes. Not a great guy. But if we have, as a country, decided everybody's afforded a proper defense and should get a proper trial, then we have to do it right. Even if that means the person we know he's guilty, right? He still deserves it.
Yeah.
Because if he doesn't deserve it, nobody does.
And how many times can you point to in history when folks said we knew they're guilty? It turns out maybe they weren't.
Right.
Everyone gets a fair trial, regardless of what you think of them. But that Alec Murdaugh case just incorporates so many archetypes: a rich white lawyer, a very powerful family. He lied about where he was and what he was doing. All of these things come together to make such a compelling story. And now you have potential jury tampering. I mean, this is literally a fiction that we're living in.
You're going to want to download the Odyssey app, which is free, so you can listen to the show, listen to anything you missed. And what you'll want to do is go find the George Mahey interview with St. Louis Magazine. He has the new openings and closings happening this month, all the new restaurants we're getting, the ones we are losing. But maybe even more importantly, we have the definitive answer on how much you should tip. which I think is very important because people still are, I don't know, do I tip 10%,
I don't know.
20%?
You know what? George covered that so well, the definitive answer. And to me, that was the mic drop moment. You know, any problem that you have with tipping, George resolved them. And it's, like Pharaoh said in the 10 Commandments, so let it be written, so let it be done.
And if George says it, it is done.
It's done.
So you have to go KMOX.com, go find, actually, you can listen to us anywhere you get your podcast or the free Odyssey app where you can also listen to us live and you can listen to Cardinals baseball live. How about that? What a great deal that Odyssey app is. So go get it and you will know how much to tip and it'll be definitive and you will never have to question it ever again. So the easing of marijuana restrictions in the United States might have some side effects we're not thinking of, some major implications. We will talk about that with Brad Young. In for Amy, I'm Chris Ranji on KMOX.
For everything online, it's Odyssey.com. Download the Odyssey app and listen to KMOX for all the news, sports, talk, and podcasts that move you. Odyssey, that's AUDACY.
Attention taxpayers. If you or your business owe the IRS back taxes or have years of unfiled tax returns, the IRS has greenlighted billions of dollars in tax relief to those facing financial hardship through its tax relief initiatives. If you have a delinquent tax problem and possibly facing wage garnishment, liens, levies, audits, or already in a payment plan, you may now qualify for significant relief. Qualifying and enrolling in this program could stop all collections, settle your tax problem, and may even reduce what you owe by up to 99%. Call the hotline at Tax Help USA to see if you qualify and receive your free tax assessment by dialing 800-210-1005. If you or your business owe back taxes to the IRS or state, you can now get the help that you need during these hard economic times. Get your free tax assessment to see what you qualify for by dialing 800-210-1005. 800-210-1005. That's 800-210-1005.
The choice of a lawyer is an important decision and should not be based solely on advertisements.
I'm Jim Onder. Have questions after being injured in an accident? We'll match you with the Onder Law team that's right for you and your case.
Onder Law. Call 314 or 618-9000 to learn more.
I'm back to doing what I love and more. Thanks to the Good Feet store.
This planet is so incredibly beautiful that I can't get enough of it. I did 950 miles on the Pacific Crest Trail, and Good Feet was with me all the way. Your passion's important, but if your body aches and if your heel feels like you've got a nail stuck in it and won't come out, trust me, it's going to wear you down. The Good Feet store knew what they were talking about and took the time to really dial in what I needed. I hiked 84 miles in the Himalaya and to do it pain-free. You think I'm not grateful for Good Feet?
Get ready for your summer adventures. Come to the Good Feet store today. Call 314-317-9494 or visit one of our 2 locations on Olive west of I-270 in the Plaza with Subway or in Shiloh, Illinois across from Deerbergs.
Thanks to the Good Feet store.
Individual results may vary. Consult your physician for medical conditions. Visit the website goodfeetstlewis.com. You deserve comfort in your life. Come in for your free test walk today.
Do you know the secret to losing up to 1 pound of fat every day? Hi, I'm Dr. Michael Glickert with St. Louis Weight Loss Secret, and I know the secret. My unique weight loss program makes it easy to lose weight, get healthy, and get your energy back naturally, safely, and effectively. If you'd love to lose unhealthy fat without counting points or calories, no exercising, no prepackaged meals, no HCG, no surgery, and no hypnosis, call my office now at 314-207-8600.
This is Debbie Monterey, and I can tell you, thanks to St. Louis Weight Loss Secret, it feels great. I lost 20 pounds in the first 30 days, and I've lost more than 30 pounds in 60 days. And you can do this. Real food that helps to speed up your metabolism. It is amazing to watch the pounds fall off.
Many patients lose 20 to 30 pounds in about a month. That's a half a pound to a pound per day. For your free private weight loss consultation, call 314-207-8600. That's 314-207-8600, or online at moweightloss.com.
Results may vary.
Hey friends, Matzo Matt here for Brewpub Lots of Matzo Pizza. Does it seem like you're camping in the forest of complaints when it comes to your kids and dinner time? Phrases like, what even is that? And
we're having that again?
Or
seriously?
Are getting tossed around like a frisbee at the beach. I know you want to break free from the barrage of bemoaning, so toss in a Brewpub Lots of Matzo Pizza for dinner tonight. That thin crust, delicious sauce, and mountain of mozzarella will have the kids singing your praises at dinner time. Snag a Brewpub Lots of Matzo Pizza today from the freezer section in your local grocery store.
Finding the right talent for your organization is something that keeps leaders up at night. The impact of a toxic employee is profound. Most companies use interviews, resumes, and reference checks, but they still hire the wrong person for the job 1 in 3 times. Using assessment data elevates successful hires to over 90% when using objective, data-driven questionnaires administered by experts. CMA can help you find the right fit for your organization. Go to CMAconsult.com. CMA Global, when your people thrive, your business thrives.
KMOX, the 2023 Large Market Radio Station of the Year, recognized by the Missouri Broadcasters Association. KMOX, we were built for this.
Got some Bob Dylan tickets that we are going to give away before the hour is over. Bob Dylan is playing at Stiefel Theater on October 4th. We got a pair to give away today. We got some to give away tomorrow and on Friday, when we will be broadcasting live from Scrubbles. We're going to be at Scrubbles in St. Peter's, 297 Salt Lick Drive. We want you to come and see us. Chris and Amy will be out there shift disturbing, and we want you to hang out with us. So the Department of Health and Human Services was it last week or was it this week? It was about a week ago. They have recommended, Brad Young, that marijuana be removed from the category which is reserved for the riskiest drugs. So we're talking LSD, heroin, the really bad stuff. They want that designation for marijuana to no longer be part of that designation. They want it to be eased. That is the recommendation. It does not mean that's exactly what's going to happen, but that is what they think should happen. And there are some potential ramifications of that where maybe it's not all good. I happen to be on the side of just let it happen. I don't partake myself, but I know a lot of people who do, and they seem to be perfectly fine and don't have any major problems in their lives. But there are potential issues that come with this.
Well, there are a lot of issues. Let's talk about, though, Chris, first of all, what would be the first things that would be, or what first would happen if the government did this move it from what's called a Schedule 1 drug, which means that there's no opportunity for legitimate use, to a Schedule 3 drug. So if that gets moved, then the first thing that would happen would be that companies could then research marijuana use and get federal funding for that. You cannot get federal funding to research cocaine, heroin, LSD. You can't do that because there's no legitimate use for those drugs. If it gets moved to Schedule 3, you might see more research done. In my area of the law, I see a lot of people who get injured and are facing opioid addiction. So what use or what possible use could marijuana have for pain relief for chronic pain sufferers that would not require them to become addicted to opioids? To me, that's an interesting development and probably a positive development. But immediately, though, the other ramification would be that marijuana sellers, the companies that are, pardon the pun, sprouting up everywhere, those companies that are selling weed, legal weed, those companies would make more money because they would be treated differently under the tax code. Right now, those companies have to be taxed on their gross sales, not net profits, and they don't get to deduct any business expenses like a normal business does. If you move it to Schedule 3, all of a sudden these companies make more money. Now, that may be a positive development for some, it may be a negative development for others, but that would be the immediate ramifications.
And just so we have a little bit of a, I guess comparison here, if it is lowered to the Schedule 3, that would put it on par with how testosterone and steroids and ketamine are considered. So that means you can get all of those things if you have a prescription. Obviously, for marijuana, it's different. There are some states now, a lot of states actually, where you don't need a prescription at all.
Correct. And there's been this wink, wink, nod, nod relationship between the FDA and the ATF and state governments, because technically, once you had, I think Colorado was one of the first states, once Colorado legalized weed, there was that issue. Are you going to have the feds now coming in to enforce federal law, even though state law allows it? So there's been this informal, unwritten relationship here where the federal government has said, we're not going to prosecute federal law in states where the state law permits marijuana. And I think if this gets moved from a Schedule 1 to a Schedule 3 drug, you would see that relationship certainly continue, if not expand.
Yeah. And like I said, I don't have any problem with any of this. I think it should be legal everywhere. I don't think it's going to lead to massive problems like some people believe. And I know it helps a lot of people who don't do it recreationally. There are people who really experience pain and they have ailments, and it does help them out a lot. So, we'll see how it goes. I think eventually they're going to loosen all the way around the country, and it won't be a big deal anymore. We are going to talk with some folks with Schlafly. The 20th Annual Art Outside Festival is happening this weekend in Maplewood. We're going to talk to a couple of people who know more about it. They'll be in studio next on KMOX.
Hey guys, it's Dave from the Dave Glover Show, 1 p.m. to 5 p.m. weekdays on KMOX. Let me do a promo that no one's ever done in the history of radio. I talk 4 hours a day, 5 days a week. It's impossible to do without saying a lot of really, really stupid stuff. So if you would like to see someone just melt down about once a week, tune in. It can happen anytime between 1 and 5. Usually happens in the 2 o'clock hour. I'm not sure why. 1 p.m. to 5 p.m. on KMOX weekdays. It's the DGS.
I get a call from my wife saying my son's been in an accident. I got to the ER, and that's when I found out what kind of shape Dakota was in. He had several injuries. He had a stroke from the accident, and then he went into a coma. The accident has changed his life tremendously. He lost pretty much every friend he had. We pretty much take care of him. There was a lot of unanswered questions, and I needed somebody to get to the bottom of it. I don't know what we would have done if it hadn't been for Morgan & Morgan.
I've been at this for a long time, and over time, I like to think of the hundreds of thousands of clients that we've helped. My office and home are full of scrapbooks and pictures of you and your families, and I love when I bump into so many of you later in life. Today, we're the largest injury firm in the world, and I'm thankful to you for trusting us all these years. We'll always be here for the people, not the powerful. We'll always be here for you.
We always felt like someone was there for us.
Visit forthepeople.com for an office near you.
Welcome to Willie's Wings, home of the secret sauce.
I'll take a dozen wings. Oh, by the way, I love that sauce. What's in it?
Can't tell you.
Why not?
It's a secret.
While many financial advisors claim to have the secret sauce, they don't. In fact, if their sauce is so good, why are they keeping it a secret? Steve All of the All Financial Group doesn't keep anything a secret. He knows there's much more to retirement planning than stocks, bonds, and mutual funds. He'll develop a strategy designed specifically for you. It's your own secret sauce for retirement. Call Steve today at 636-230-8824 for your personal portfolio x-ray. Call 636-230-8824 or online at yourmoneymattersstl.com.
Fine, you want to know what's in the sauce?
Absolutely.
Tablespoon of paprika.
Really?
Investment advisory services offered through Brookstone Wealth Advisors, LLC, a registered investment advisor. BWA and All Financial Group, LLC are separate companies.
At 12:30, we've got sun. It's 80 degrees downtown at the Arch. Deadline reports that Real Sports with Bryant Gumbel will end at the conclusion of its current season on HBO. Gumbel has hosted the show since April 1995. He says since day one at Real Sports, we've consistently tried to look beyond the scoreboard and focus instead on the many societal issues inherent in the world of sports. Secretary of State Antony Blinken is on an unannounced visit to Kyiv, as CBS's Cami McCormick tells us.
Secretary of State Blinken arrived hours after a Russian missile attack on the Ukrainian capital.
I'm here first and foremost to demonstrate our ongoing and determined support for Ukraine.
His trip is meant to calm the nerves of allies as well, anxious over Ukraine's slow counteroffensive against Russia, which Blinken says has made good progress.
I'm Tom Ackerman. The Cardinals' Jordan Walker with 3 hits last night, including a home run in his hometown of Atlanta. Family and friends enjoyed that. He recognized them as he rounded the bases. And the Cardinals won the game 10-6 over the Atlanta Braves. Nolan Gorman hit 2 home runs. He now has 26. And Tyler O'Neill also hit one as the Cardinals picked up a win. Dakota Hudson makes the start today. And then another hometown kid, Adam Wainwright, will start tomorrow's game against the Braves. First things first, it's a 6:20 start tonight, 5:25. The pregame right here on KMOX. This Cardinals report sponsored by Aloha Pools USA. Swim next summer, alohapoolsusa.com.
70 East right now at Lake St. Louis Boulevard. MoDOT says it is closed because of a crash there. 70 East at the merge at Lake St. Louis Boulevard, backed up to Pierce. We've also got a stalled vehicle, 6440 going east at 270 in the right lane, and also 70 West. The exit to Shreve is closed, MoDOT says. This afternoon, breezy, not as hot, lower humidity with a high of 84. For tonight, clear, low 64. And for tomorrow through Sunday, great September weather with a high of 80 to 84 those days. Right now it's sunny and 80 downtown at the Arch. I'm Michael Calhoun, KMOX News.
Sponsored by Thrivent.
I put what I can towards my retirement every month. Every little bit counts.
At Thrivent, we offer expert financial advice that starts with what's important to you. Learn more at Thrivent.com.
Broadcasting from the Underlying Tree Lawyers. GetJim.com studios.
KMOX.
It looks like wood, it feels like wood, but it's maintenance free. It's luxurious James Hardie siding. And during Banner Construction's 30th anniversary event, you get same as cash financing on Hardie products and Pella windows. Let Banner Construction transform your home into the envy of the neighborhood. Call now and have Banner's design team give you some great options and a free quote. 314-569-1050. Online, bannerconstruction.com. That's 569-1050. And have a banner day.
Men, if you're struggling with erectile dysfunction or PE, the medical providers at Paramount Men's Medical Center offer breakthrough treatments that eliminate problems in the bedroom without pain or surgery. Listen to a specialist in men's health.
I'm Dr. Simovitz. Paramount Men's Medical Center offers the most advanced treatments to eliminate ED and PE. 98% of men experience instant results on their first office visit. They're even lasting 90 minutes or longer, regardless of age or medical history.
Don't just take our word for it. Call Paramount Men's Medical Center now for our limited time offer. Your initial consultation and first treatment are completely free. You'll see instant results right in the office. You'll even get a gift that enhances your performance in the bedroom. All this, worth hundreds of dollars, is free if you call now. 314-720-8081. 314-720-8081. That's 314-720-8081.
Okay, boys, here we go.
Hey, from the jump now, let's go. Chiefs football is back.
We're going to set the tone.
And ready to kick off the 2023 season this Thursday against the Lions.
They don't like us. We don't like them.
It all starts at 6. Chiefs football. And you can catch the game on 97.1 FM Talk.
All right, I told you we got tickets to give away. Let's do it right now. We've got 2 Bob Dylan tickets. He's playing at the Stiefel Theater October 4th, and we got a pair to give away. We're looking for caller number 5 to our contest line, 314-436-7900. You're going to go see Bob Dylan on October 4th. We also have tickets to give away tomorrow and Friday, so you will want to listen in for your chance to win. I am joined in studio right now by, well, coming up here is the 20th Annual Art Outside Festival. That is this weekend at Schlafly in Maplewood. The Schlafly Bottle Works in Maplewood. You all know where it is. John Elefrost, who is the restaurant and private events manager there, and an artist is with us. Svein Stabby is in studio now. Guys, thanks for being here.
Well, thanks for having us.
Yeah, thanks for having us.
Looking forward to this thing. I have never been to this one. I've been to, and now I'm it's escaping me what it was called, but the block party that you had about a month ago.
Pig and Whiskey.
Pig and Whiskey.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Great time.
Oh, yeah.
I saw Bone Thugs and Harmony play. They were overheated, and I think they had to leave early, but it was cool. So this is a very cool thing too, the art festival. Tell me more about it, because I have not done this one before.
Yeah, no, it's great. It's a free, family-friendly festival where we gather a bunch of local artists, all residing within 125 miles of St. Louis. So we keep it local. We've got lots of beer, lots of great food. Again, the artist vending. You're going to get a chance to see some quality and very affordable art and acquire some if you'd like.
And it's all different kinds of art. I think when people hear art, they think, oh, sculptures and paintings, but it's a lot more than that.
It really is. It's photography. It's sketches. It's woodworking. It's stonework. It's mixed media. It's across the board. It's art. I mean, inherently, art is just it's a broad canvas, and you see all kinds of great stuff. It's amazing.
Svein is here. You are a local artist. Are you out of the St. Louis area?
Yeah, I'm out of St. Louis.
Okay.
We have a shop in South City, right off of Kings Highway on Thelozin Avenue.
And you've brought in some of what you make. You make leather goods.
Yeah, so I'm a leather worker. So we make all kinds of leather goods, starting from wallets, passport holders, padfolios, bags. Yeah, we use full grain leather. Love to kind of make pieces that are really functional, but also just kind of display the beauty of the leather. So it's something we try to do. Yeah.
And this is what I was talking about, that when people think art, typically they're not thinking about using leather as art.
Yeah, it is I think a unique medium where you're there's not a lot of leather workers out there still. There's a lot of or there's not many of us. So when you get to see people who are using such a high quality material to create something that's not just for display but for function, it's a unique platform, and it's fulfilling for sure.
How did you start working with anything else first and then you moved to leather, or was that just you had a particular affinity for it?
Yeah, no, I just started with leather. Prior to this, I was a gym teacher. So this just kind of came out of I think nowhere, but I've always been making stuff as a kid and a young adult, and then leather just kind of came natural as I started using it.
John, how do you just ask people, hey, you put the word out, if you want to be involved in this, get a hold of us, or do you reach out to local artists? How does the whole process come down to who's going to be there?
It's a mix. We do. We reach out. Some people reach out to us. We have people that come back from years previous. So, and then sometimes people can't come back, so we'll find new people. And it's a neat experience because you get to meet a lot of different, very unique people. Yeah.
You got over 60 artists coming in.
Yes, we do. Yes.
So what kinds of stuff are we talking about, other than we've got Svein's leather goods? You'll have the typical kinds of art. What else will you see there?
Again, like I said, you'll see all kinds of stuff. Art, and like you said, you think art, you think sculptures and paintings, but you also see purses and wall hangings and just all kinds of stuff. You really have to come check it out and see for yourself.
All right, and you've brought beer with you.
I did. I brought some beer. Beer that's going to be available there. We're going to have pale ale there. We're going to have Oktoberfest, our white lager, our park lager, and our just a bit hazy IPA.
Well, it is September, and Oktoberfest, it's time for that.
It is.
It's time for the Oktoberfest. Is that that one is not, you have a pumpkin style, but it's not this one.
It is not. No, we do have a pumpkin ale, which is very good, very popular, award winning. And that will be available actually in the restaurant. In the restaurant, there are going to be several more beers that will be available for as well. So,
okay. Yeah. And this gets started on Friday. So it's Friday, Saturday, Sunday. Yep. Friday from 5 to 9. Yep. Saturday, it'll be from 11 in the morning until 9 p.m. and then 11 to 4 on Sunday. And it's totally free.
It's totally free. Absolutely.
Totally free to come in, but you got to buy stuff.
You do. It's free to attend. Then we purchase beer and food. We're going to have smoked chicken nachos out there, pretzels, bratwurst, chips, all kinds of great stuff. Plus, in the restaurant, full menu available for dine-in.
Awesome. Are you having restaurants from outside come in, or are you all providing all the food
No, it's
yourself?
all coming from us.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Awesome.
Yeah.
All right. So you've got this music.
Yes, we have 11 different bands playing over the course of the weekend.
Oh, do you know any off the top of your head?
I can't. You got to come. Find
Gotta
out
come. All
yourself.
right.
Yeah.
Bone Thugs won't be back. though.
No, they'll not.
To make up for the 15 minutes that they walked out on you guys. They were just way too hot.
It was hot that day.
Man, I can't remember which one. Was it I can't remember which Bone it was, but he said, nope, I'm sitting down.
Yep.
He played 2 songs and the rest of the guys walked around stage and he just sat down on the stool.
It was hot.
Oh my God. And this weekend will not be.
It will not be. The weather's going to be perfect. You know what? I don't want to jinx it. I shouldn't have said anything. But yeah, we're looking like low 80s, sunny skies.
Let me see.
Look it up.
Svein, I think it's going to be nice, right?
Yeah, I was looking ahead because these September events are always a toss-up. You don't know
here in St. Louis. Yeah,
here. And I know we are about 5 days out from Sunday. Okay. Friday, Saturday, Sunday, high of 79, 78, 80, clear skies.
Perfect.
Yep.
There's nothing better than a festival this time of year.
No, this is going to be great.
Schlafly Bottle Works in Maplewood. Svein with leather. And I'm looking at all your stuff is great, man.
Isn't it cool?
That's all really cool.
Yeah. Thank you.
I'm going to check out a wallet.
What is it? What is that on the over there? Is that a card holder?
This is our most popular wallet. It's got a money clip on the inside, so it keeps your cash in there, but then a lot of pockets for cards, including like an ID slot. So that's the one I use.
Beautiful.
And yeah, if you just see how the leather ages, it's the same leather after about.
Oh,
yeah,
really? Oh, that's
yeah.
awesome.
Yeah, it's really neat how it'll
Some nice
age.
patina.
Yeah, I've used mine for about a year and a half. So yeah.
And so what if people want to look for you when they come there? Is there you'll have a banner somewhere?
Yeah,
or we just look for leather?
Yeah, no, we have a banner. So my company's name is Anska Leather Company.
Okay.
So it's spelled ANSGAR and then Leather Co. Yeah, so you can find us there. And like I said, our shop is, if you type that into Google Maps, you'll find us too. So yeah.
Awesome.
Yeah.
So booze, food, artists, it's a really cool thing that I'm going to come by now. Especially since you made the effort to come in, I will come by.
Thank you. All right.
All right. Should we drink now or?
Absolutely.
All right. We'll do that.
Can we do that?
Yeah. During the break, we'll do it. All right. The Schlafly Beer 20th annual Art Outside Festival starts Friday. Friday starts at 5 o'clock. And then it goes till 9, 11 to 9 Saturday, 11 to 4 on Sunday. It is free. It is at the Schlafly Bottle Works in Maplewood. So get out there. John Elefross and Svein Stabby, thanks for coming in today.
Thanks
Looking
for having
forward
us.
to it.
Yeah, thanks for having us.
We'll be back with Brad Young in a moment. Chris Ranji on KMOX.
When choosing a skilled nursing memory care community, considered by U.S. News & World Reports as a best memory care community, choose Park Provence, where expert care is not cost prohibitive because they understand the challenges of today. For nearly 20 years, Park Provence has been the experts at treating dementia and Alzheimer's disease. If you're faced with making a difficult decision for your loved one, call today at 314-542-2500 or visit parkprovence.com. That's PARC Provence.com.
Your garage door is always there for you, rain or shine. Are you taking your garage door for granted? Is it screeching and whining for attention? Trust Overhead Door Company of St. Louis to keep your garage door reliable. Maybe the old weather stripping needs replaced to keep out the cold and hot air. Call Overhead Door Company of St. Louis, trusted here since 1926. For same-day service, call 314-781-5200 and schedule online at overheaddoorsstlouis.com.
Join KMOX and support our effort to collect diapers going on now through September 30th. Come out and donate new or unused diapers of any size and brand in support of National Diaper Need Awareness Week. September 27th, you can catch us at the Ruler Foods Collinsville, Illinois location. September 29th, see us at the Ruler Foods St. Anne location and make your donations. You can also drop off diapers at the St. Louis Diaper Bank, Monday through Friday, 10 till 2 p.m., all month long.
Together Credit Union is the official banking partner of St. Louis City SC, which means Together Credit Union is the only place to find the official City SC debit card, which comes with special perks. There's no cost for the City SC debit card, so don't wait and sign up today online at togethercu.org. Together Credit Union, federally insured by NCUA.
Can you imagine efficiency and productivity at an all-time high?
Everyone is happier.
And everything is cleaner.
You no longer have to think about all the junk that's in your way.
We're 1-800-GOT-JUNK.
We make junk disappear.
All you have to do is point.
You're incredibly good at what you do.
We're good at what we do, too.
Why not outsource the cleanup to us?
Put us in the game, Coach. Put us in the game.
We're industrial strength magicians.
Call 1-800-GOT-JUNK.
Or visit 1-800-GOT-JUNK.com.
AMCO presents Bet You Didn't Know.
Bet you didn't know that your car's transmission is made up of 800 pieces. Also, bet you didn't know that AMCO's fixed over 40 million transmissions, and that AMCO offers a nationwide warranty.
AMCO offers easy payment plan options for most any credit situation, so you can fix it fast and pay it off slow at AMCO.
That's AMCO, AA-MCO.
Yes, with inflation, interest rate increases, and a possible recession looming, we are no doubt facing uncertain times in the housing market. But as a realtor with over 20 years of experience, I can tell you, if you're thinking of selling your home, now more than ever, you need a realtor to help you through these times while saving you money. Hi, I'm Christina Straight, owner of Straight Realty, and we offer all of this for only 4%. Why pay more than 4? 314-441-4444.
Straight Realty is a licensed broker in the state of Missouri.
You had a solid retirement dream. Sell your home in a few years, bank the equity, downsize, and travel. But inflation and recession has you wondering if all your hard-earned equity will still be there. What if you could recession-proof your equity right now? You can with Truehold. Truehold will buy your home for its best current value before a recession can erode it. You get to bank all the cash now and live in your home for as long as you want. And Truehold covers all property taxes, insurance, repairs, and maintenance. And since Truehold pays your home's current value in cash now, it's yours to do whatever you'd like. Don't wait for inflation, recession, and interest rates to erode your home's value. Visit Truehold.com and discover how much Truehold will buy your home for today, based on its best current value, not what's coming. Call 1-855-300-9993 or visit Truehold.com. The smarter, faster way to cash out on your home's value without having to move. That's Truehold.com.
Hi, this is Ken Newbold at Newbold Toyota and Newbold BMW. I am so confident that my team will take care of every one of your service and sales needs. I'll give you my cell phone, 618-791-5470. Newbold Toyota or newboldtoyota.com. You'll be sold on Newbold.
Whether you're looking to fill low spots in your lawn, backfill that new retaining wall, or mulch your trees and flower beds, St. Louis Composting has the compost, soil, or mulch you need to help your plants and garden look its very best. Visit our website, stlcompost.com, for more information.
Celebrate the month of September with Zero Res and get 3 rooms of carpet clean starting at just $129 and take $50 off your air duct cleaning. Call for the DGS special 314-474-2020 or book online at ZeroResSTL.com.
St. Louis, this is your show. The show. It's the Chris and Amy Show on KMOX.
Amy Marks Kors is out. She will be back this week. Brad Young filling in for her today. I'm Chris Ranji with you. We were discussing the marijuana situation and the recommendation to move it from a Schedule 1 to Schedule 3 drug, because right now it's on par with stuff like heroin, which clearly it is not the same thing as heroin. But you had something else on the topic, Brad, that you wanted to get into.
I do, Chris, because I love how most things in life can be explained by economics. And let me give you a great example when it comes to marijuana. Whenever marijuana was legalized, the push to legalize marijuana, we were told that by legalizing marijuana, what you're doing is you accomplish 2 things. You raise tax money, which is going to be going for good government services. But secondly, by legalizing marijuana, what you do is that you, as a society or as a state, then we lessen the usage of black market or illegal marijuana. But what's happened is, and study after study has proven this, I just read an article last week in Fortune magazine on this exact topic, is that the opposite has happened. That because legal marijuana is okay, people try it, more people actually use marijuana, but then after a while, they don't like the cost, because with legal marijuana, there's fees, there's security, there's taxes, there's standards that you have to meet. There's all of these regulatory devices that drive up the cost of legal marijuana. Well, black market weed doesn't care about any of those things. So they can price themselves below the price of the legal product and actually increase their sales. That's happening in virtually every state now that has legalized marijuana, and it's creating a growing problem in New York, in California, and in other states because of economics. If people like weed, if they want to buy it, they can buy it cheaper if it's black market. So it's actually accomplishing, at least in some respects, the opposite of what was intended.
Yeah, and I can see that happening. What my guess is, for people who are newly getting into smoking or gummies or whatever it is they do with marijuana, or whatever however they choose to intake, like, I wonder if those people who are very casual about it are going to worry about going through the process of finding a guy. You know, like, if you want to smoke, you gotta have a weed guy now.
Yeah, exactly. The weed guy.
I just want to go into the store and get it, you know? So I wonder how many people that will affect, but I understand the idea of extra taxes on it and fees or whatever is not appealing, but I guess what you're paying for is the convenience.
You are paying for the convenience, but then if you carry this idea forward, Chris, and we saw this with gambling. Here's what happened with gambling. We were told that if you legalize gambling in Missouri, the money would go for education. It would go for very valuable services. But what the government did was that when the gambling tax revenue came in, the government simply allocated less revenue in those areas because they said, well, it's being made up for by the gambling revenue. So it was kind of a wash or maybe a small increase. But then when the gambling revenue goes down, which it has, at this point now, you expanded government based upon the greater revenue. And then when that revenue goes down, you now have unfunded liabilities. And I see the same potential with marijuana, because as we grow regulatory agencies, as we grow inspection agencies to monitor the weed, that all costs state money. And if the tax revenue does at some point plateaus or goes down because more people are using black market weed, at that point we're creating more unfunded liabilities just so we can, go to the street corner and buy weed for free, or buy weed legally, certainly not for free.
Right. Yeah, that's and the dispensaries are everywhere. They're they're all over the place. You don't have to go very far to get to one. And
well, I just thought it was funny when we took our daughter to Mizzou this year. She's a junior at Mizzou. It's amazing how many dispensaries there are in a college town like Columbia. It's truly amazing.
Well, it's probably the best place to start, isn't it?
I'm being facetious. I am being facetious.
I know who's going to love this weed. I know.
How about college kids?
Mizzou students. Only Mizzou students. But I'm telling you, I remember a time when, like anybody, because it was just like 2 years ago, where if you wanted it, you had to find somebody who knew somebody who knew somebody else. Then they had to trust you. Then they had to be like, I don't know if I guess you still have to worry about that. If you're a black market dealer, you can still get into trouble, right? So what is the punishment for? I don't know if you know this off the top of your head, what the punishment would be for selling but not doing it in a legal sense. Is it as severe as it used to be? It can't possibly be, right?
Well, I don't know the specifics on that, Chris, but I can tell you that, again, if you follow the money, which is always a great way to analyze things, if you follow the money, the government, particularly the state government, may be more interested in cracking down on black market weed now, because now black market weed is cutting in on the state's business.
Yeah.
If the state's business is collecting tax revenue, then they're cutting in on their business. If you look at it like two different mafia groups, okay, the government mafia group is saying, hey, now you're into our territory. son. We're going to have to crack down. Whereas before, cracking down on illegal weed really had no impact on taxes.
Yeah, that's kind of the way I see. Sometimes people in Congress, they will vouch for their own to an extent until that person who is in their party starts messing with their money. And once you start messing with other people's money, even if you're on the same team, you're done.
My dad used to have a favorite saying. His saying was, if you really want to get to know somebody, share an inheritance with them. And that got to the core principle of, you know what, we could be great friends and buddies, but when you're impacting our money, now it's an issue. So while I haven't researched exactly how the legalization of marijuana has impacted the enforcement penalties for violating the law on selling black market weed, I've got a strong hunch that the enforcement has gone up because of the tax money.
Hey, we were talking about Al Capone earlier. Just ask Dean O'Banion what happens when you start messing with Capone's money. Take you out on church steps. All right. Brad Young, thanks for hanging out with me today. Love it.
My pleasure.
I know we'll talk soon. When we need legal advice, we'll come to you.
Yeah, next time I'm in, bring the coffee mug.
I will. Thanks, Brad Young. That's Brad Young. I'm Chris Ranji. We've got the Dave Glover Show next on KMOX.
It's football season at Circa Resort and Casino in Las Vegas, featuring the best pool in history. Stadium Square, 3 levels.